against Duguay, Johnstone, and Plante. And here we go with game 4. Rangers immediately gain possession. Marois fired it out on the right side. It's Gainey dumping it back in. The Canadiens make an immediate line change. And Mike McEwen takes over for New York. Here's Napier stealing the puck to Lafleur. He had Mondeau in front of the net but couldn't get it to him. And the Rangers start out of there. McEwen overskated the puck. Now passes to Plante, number 24, to Duguay, number 10. Fires it in. Dryden trying to set it up. Cleared it over onto the other wing. Napier gets it for Montreal, number 31. Mark Napier, lead pass, and just off a skate of Mondeau. Now back comes Duguay. He's bumped by Robinson. Dryden out of the net, and Johnstone runs into him. And then Robinson knocks Johnstone fly. And a shot by the Rangers goes wide. Puck cleared to center. McEwen has it there. He fired it back in. Rangers send 2 men in. Duguay comes up with it. He's belted behind the net. Now Johnstone, number 17, checked in the play. Poole gets it to Robinson. Now Plante behind the net is checked, and the Canadiens clear it. Couldn't get it out of there, and they whistle it down. It was batted ahead from one Montreal player to another with a gloved hand.
Well, a wandering goaltender, Kenny Dryden, sets up a sequence of some rather rough action, Bobby.
Well, the Rangers are doing tonight what I thought they would do in the third game, come out and take the bodies. And if they don't take the bodies, and I don't mean running them through the boards or over the glass or anything like that, they've got to bump them. And anytime you're out of the net, you're a free game. And Johnstone gave Kenny a pretty good shot.
But I think Mr. Robinson was quick to come to the fore.
Good for team spirit.
Face-off comes to Dave Maloney, shoots one, and it was wide of the net. Hickey scores! Pat Hickey, his first goal of the playoffs this year from the side of the net, and the Rangers lead 1-0.
Well, an aggressive start for New York, and a strange goal gives them a very, very big lift after only a minute and 19 seconds.
Hickey turns. Here's a shot coming from the point. Kenny makes the save. Hickey beats him in the corner, hits Kenny's pad between his legs.
Boy, I've seen a lot of goals scored that way in this playoff year. It's been very strange. That's about the 5th in games involving Montreal. As Dan mentioned, Pat Hickey had been scoreless in the playoffs up to now, 34 goals in the regular season. He couldn't buy a goal right there. He gets one. It's 1-0 New York.
He went through 16 playoff games without a goal, but gets a big one here, and the Rangers have the early lead. Engblom clearing it near the Ranger line. Dave Maloney trying to drop it back. Badney cleared it to center. Sheehan being checked by Langway. Now the puck cleared into the corner, but it's called on a delayed offside at the Ranger blue line. The scoring play, Hickey from Maloney and Sheehan at 1:19. Hickey's first of the playoffs. Number 16, Pat Hickey, the man who scored the goal, out on left wing right now. With Sheehan and another new man in the Ranger lineup in this series, Lucien Deblois on the right side.
He's the only newcomer tonight for the Rangers. Dave Farish, who dressed in Game 3, is not in uniform. No changes for Montreal.
Fired in by the Canadiens. Langway shooting it in, and that's Badney back to get it to Deblois, number 23 on right wing. To Hickey. Hickey trying to move it in. Couldn't get it through the defense. Engblom breaks it up. Brian Engblom, number 3. Trying to go around Badney, who knocked it off his stick. Now Lambert holding it in, but it comes right to Dave Maloney. Number 26, Maloney. Flips it up the middle to Sheehan on the right side to Deblois. That's Robinson after him. Robinson couldn't clear it. Deblois bumps Robinson, but the Montreal defenseman breaks loose and feeds to Lambert. Now off a skate to Risebrow, and the play is offside at the Ranger blue line.
The Rangers have the early goal, lead 1-0 from Madison Square Garden in New York. This is Stanley Cup 79.
Now, from Braun into the domain of the rotary shaver comes the new Braun Micron. Look, this is the shaving area of the rotary head. The Braun Micron foil is 30% thinner for a closer, cleaner shave. The thinner the foil, the closer Braun shaves. Our design is to shave you closer than the rotary. The new Braun Micron.
Linesman Ron Finn nicked on the side of the head up over the hairline by a high stick or a puck, I don't know, but he's all right. He's going to carry on.
Rangers are leading 1-0 on the face-off. Houle drops it back to Robinson. He's checked by Kachuk. Now picking up the loose puck. Moving in. Vickers shoots one. Dryden went to his knees, made the save, and with Hedberg all over him, Dryden was able to freeze the puck.
Bobby, they put the rush on Robinson right at the Montreal blue line.
They have got to go after Robinson. They cannot let him control the puck. And by the way they're playing right now, that is the plan. They're going to go right to their bodies. And there's Hedberg going right to the net, which is a great play. And
this time from the face-off, Houle for Montreal breaks out, flips it in. Davidson beats Gainey to the puck. Now Gainey gets it. They score! Houle into an open net after Gainey stole it behind the net. And Houle ties it for Montreal.
Well, another strange goal. You know, Bobby, the goaltenders wander a lot more these days than before. Sometimes it works, sometimes they get caught. Davidson got caught here.
I don't know if it hit something here or not. He missed it.
Yeah,
he missed it. He tried to shoot a little harder, and Houle's all by himself. That's how we wish we could get them all the time.
Yeah, that's right. Now, that was a tough break. He made the move, and the puck did not make good contact, or the stick didn't make good contact. So Reggie Houle gets the goal from Bob Gainey at 2:39. And a couple of strange goals, and we're back to square one. It's a tie hockey game.
And like Hickey, the goal for Houle is his first of the playoffs. Here's Don Maloney trying to clear it out. Maloney, number 12, gets to center. Lafleur flips it to the Ranger line. New York clearing it for Esposito, now to Don Maloney. Flips one in and takes a hit from Chartrand. Robinson back to get it. Robinson feeding it up the middle. Here comes Lemaire. Backhanding it over onto the other wing to Schutt, leaves for Lafleur. Center to Lemaire, and he couldn't control the pass. Davidson cleared it to Don Maloney. Number 12, Don Maloney. To Murdoch. Firing it in, Esposito racing in after it for the Rangers. In behind the goal to Murdoch, now to Don Maloney, and it went off his skate. And Lafleur fired it to center, and back behind the play, a couple of penalties coming up.
We're going to have Chartrand, I think, for interference, and Don Maloney for slashing on the exchange. And they both head to the penalty box. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
Hi, I'm Darryl Sittler of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Leafs are only one team in the National Hockey League, all of us trying to come out on top. It's the same in the United Way. Many agencies working all year long to provide the services needed so that others can come out on top. And your gift is helping. Thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
There is Ranger rookie Don Maloney. He's in the penalty box for slashing at 3:34. And on the other side of the box, there is Rick Chartrand of the Canadiens, off at the same time for interference. 5 aside.
Engblom for Montreal, flips it to Jarvis. Jarvis had to backtrack to wait for Gainey to get back on side. Now Savard shooting it in, and Greshner, number 4. Trying to clear it on the boards. Vadnais has it for New York. He's checked by Gainey. Gainey falls, but drops it to Engblom. He tried to feed it over to Savard, and it is taken away by Duguay. Now Vadnais on right wing to Johnstone. Played it off the boards for Duguay, and Savard pokes it away. Canadiens, Johnstone knocking down Engblom, and here's Vadnais moving right in, backhander, and Dryden just got a piece of it. Now Gainey is flattened in the corner. Rangers Duguay centering one. In for checking now is Johnstone. In front of the net, Greshner moves in, shoots one, and Savard blocked it. Greshner again, and Dryden flat on the ice, able to stop Greshner's low shot.
Well, I'll tell you, you've got to be impressed in the early going with the play of the Rangers' number 17, Eddie Johnston. And it's his aggressiveness, Bobby, that set up that chance for New York.
To me, the only way they can beat the Canadiens is to take the body, and that's what they're doing right now. And Greshner gets it. Greshner doesn't get good wood on it. I think Johnston gets it back across to Greshner, or Greshner gets it off a leg here. And he doesn't have great control of it. Can't get it. Kenny's down. He can't get up. He gets it again, and again he doesn't get any wood on it. finally Kenny scrambles to get a hold of it.
Oh, Dryden was right down on his back on that play. There's Eddie Johnston.
Twice the other night, it was Esposito and Duguay. Kenny was down twice, and they just couldn't get it up over him, and they hit him in the chest.
Teams are still a man short as Robinson tried to clear it up. Rangers hold it in here as Kachuk. Now they work it into Hedberg. Hedberg dropping it to the point. Marois shoots one, and Dryden kicked out his left pad. McEwen back to Marois. Into the corner for Hedberg for McEwen. He's checked, got it in front. Savard intercepting, and passes on right wing for Houle. Houle trying to make a play. Cleared it in behind the net, and Mike McEwen has it for the Rangers. 30 seconds left in the penalties. McEwen, an excellent puck carrier. Trying to work around Robinson. Lambert checked him and fired it off the boards down into the Ranger zone. That's Marois going back and touching it, and icing is called against Montreal.
Now there's Freddie Sherrill back of the Ranger bench at the Stanley Cup luncheon yesterday. He gave a very entertaining short talk. Said the Canadiens gave him his first break in coaching when he worked with Shawinigan Falls. He says, I owe the organization a lot, but what I don't owe them is another Stanley Cup.
But he even called one of his sons after Régin Houle.
I think Freddie's got his boys fired up tonight. Although we've only played 5-6 minutes, very, very impressive.
We're down to 13 seconds left in the minor penalties to Maloney of the Rangers and Chartrand of the Canadiens. Murdoch and Lafleur will try for this face-off after Jarvis and Esposito were tossed out. Jarvis got it to center. Lafleur picks it up there, shoots one, and Davidson went to his knees to handle the long shot. Dave Maloney to Murdoch. Headmanning to Esposito. Penalized players back on. Hustling back is Chartrand. Tried to shoot it out. Murdoch in behind the net. Don Maloney shoots one, and he shot it wide as he tried for the short side, and off the backboards. Dryden was able to grab the loose puck.
And we've had a penalty called on the play. This is Stanley Cup 79 from Madison Square Garden in New York.
When Pierre Trudeau first came to power, Canada stood strong in the world. Our standard of living was second only to the United States. Since that time, we've dropped to 7th place. $4 billion in Canadian investment have left this country to create jobs elsewhere, and 1 million Canadians are looking for work. Things don't have to be this way. On May 22nd, vote Progressive Conservative. Give the future a chance.
Well, Rick Chartrand's off for elbowing just 15 seconds after he left the penalty box. He was in there with Don Maloney. This time he's all by himself. So the Rangers get the first power play opportunity of the game.
1-1 the score. A key to the game the other night was the great penalty killing of Savard and the rest of the Canadiens. Let's see how the Rangers do with this power play try. Esposito against Jarvis. Jarvis gets it to Savard. Over on the wing for Gainey, he lets it go, and Murdoch, number 14, back for the Rangers.
Just a tiny bit.
Rink-wide pass to Greshner. Jarvis stepped into him. Greshner still controlling it. To McEwen, back to Greshner. Gainey is in there forechecking. Murdoch to center ice to Don Maloney, broken up by Gainey. And Gainey gets it into the Ranger zone. Murdoch is there. Cleared it on the boards. Now Gainey stealing it. Got it to Savard. His shot handled with a stick save by Davidson. Mike McEwen as the Rangers work it out of their own end. Esposito leaves for Don Maloney. Trying to fire it over for Greshner. Risebrow tipped it, and Risebrow, number 8, picks it up. Doug Risebrow shoots, and Davidson gets a stick on it. Don Maloney, number 12. On right wing to Murdoch. A minute left in the Canadiens penalty. Mike McEwen being checked in the play by Tremblay, but got it into the Montreal zone. Here's Robinson, wasting no time and firing it all the way down the ice. And Marois is back for the Rangers. 43 seconds left in the penalty. Hedberg on right wing, gets to center, giving it to Kachuk. Moved in, and the play goes offside at the Montreal blue line.
One point in the game, the Rangers had outshot the Canadiens 5-1. The only Montreal shot being the empty net goal, if you will, by Reggie Uhl. The Canadiens have had a couple since then, but they haven't had anything in close on Davidson. As we look at Anders Hedberg, number 15, the highly publicized Swedish star, who I felt was the best Ranger, certainly one of the best in their losing effort here a couple of nights ago.
36 seconds left in the penalty to Chartrand. Here's Savard slapping it down the ice, and the Rangers have to go back. And the Canadiens thus far have killed off this penalty very well. Rangers work it to Hedberg. Dumps one in. Bryden played it behind the net. Comes on the boards for Hedberg. He dropped it to Vadnais, who couldn't hold it in as the puck bounced on him. And Vadnais has to drop it back to Marois. Return to Vadnais. Flips one in. Savard racing in to beat Hedberg to it. And he's bumped on the play. Robinson, however, gets it to center to Lambert. Chartrand's back on. Here's Lambert, centers to Lemaire, who turns and fires a weak shot, but Davidson handled. Vadnais cleared it. Kachuk is there for Hedberg. Now to Vickers, number 8. Steve Vickers being checked by Lambert, and as he was checked, the play goes offside at the Montreal blue line.
Well, both teams are missing front-line players out with injury. There is Ulf Nilsson of the Rangers, who will not play again in this series. We saw a lot of his smiling face the other night, watching from in back of the New York bench. In Civies, he had the broken ankle, tried it in games 1 and 2, and won't play again. Guy Lapointe of the Canadiens, back home in Montreal, still very doubtful as to his immediate hockey future.
The man we were mentioning earlier, in addition to the Ranger lineup tonight, Deblois, number 23, out on the ice on right wing with Hickey on left wing and Sheehan at center. A man who has really become prominent on that Montreal defense, particularly in the finals. Langway on the ice now. Face-off coming up at the Canadiens blue line. 11:54 left in the first period. 1-1 the score. Hickey for the Rangers, Houle for the Canadiens. Now Mondeau got it to the Ranger line. Greshner feeds to center to Hickey. Over on right wing to Deblois on its opposite stick and over the boards at the Montreal players bench.
With the score, the Canadiens won, the Rangers won. This is Stanley Cup 79.
Ryder rents trucks, all kinds of trucks. And Ryder does everything possible to make sure the wipers work, the headlights work, the brakes and steering and transmissions have been checked out. So practically nothing can stop a Ryder truck. Because when you rent trucks, you don't want them to give you problems. You want them to solve your problems. Ryder, the best truck money can rent.
That's Canadiens left winger Steve Shutt as we get ready for a face-off outside the Montreal line. Greshner for New York firing one in. And the play is whistled on an offside again. And another great penalty-killing performance by the Canadiens, Dick Irvin.
It's been a big story in this series so far, certainly in the games here in New York. As we look at Claude Ruel, the Canadiens' #1 assistant to Scotty Bowman, and team captain Ivan Cournoyer, Bobby's old friend, who, of course, has been out of action since last November with a serious back injury. They could use him.
Here's Greshner taking it away from Shutt, flipping one in. Engblom is back after it for the Canadiens. Bumped by Hickey. Hickey comes up with the puck, tries to center and does, but Lafleur for Montreal intercepts. Shot up the center. Greshner to Sheehan. Now Langway for Montreal. Lost it to Lucien Deblois. He's checked by Lafleur. Quick shot, and Davidson turns it to the corner. Greshner out on the right wing side. Lemaire is there to break it up. Now Sheehan coming up with it. And the play is called on a delayed offside, I believe.
Here's quite a story with this little fella. He is a 15-year-old hockey fan from Montreal who came down today by bus. The Canadiens saw him standing outside the rink. He's well known to the players at Montreal. Didn't know where to go, Madison Square Garden. They stopped the team bus when they arrived, brought him in with them on the bus, and there he is. Peter Repazy, 15 years old.
Here are the Rangers. Dave Maloney dumps one in. Lupien, number 24, back to get it to Lambert. Now to Savard. Savard moved it outside the line, cleared it near the Ranger line, and Johnstone takes over for Dave Maloney. They head to Plante. Plante checked by Mark Napier. Napier, number 31. Long shot off a stick and up over the glass. And the faceoff will be outside the Ranger blue line.
I believe that is Howard Cosell, am I right?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
By golly, there he is. Quite a hockey fan in the resurgence of the Rangers here in New York. Must be official now.
Face-off coming up outside the Ranger line. 1-1 the score here in period one as Lupien fired it in. Dave Maloney feeding it up the middle for Duguay, now to Plante. Plante, a lead pass to Johnstone. Lupien with that long reach of his breaks it up, and it goes off his stick over the boards at the Montreal bench.
And another interested spectator, Canadiens Public Relations Director Claude Mouton, for years the voice of the Canadiens and the Expos in Montreal and the public address system.
First goal of the game by Pat Hickey from Dave Maloney and Shepard at 1:19. And Houle tied it for Montreal from Gainey at 2:39. Here's Dave Maloney clearing it in, and we've had a rash of offsides and quick whistles, or numerous whistles, I should say, here in the early going.
Well, what it's done right here, Bobby, the Canadiens have somehow managed to settle things down.
That's right. The Rangers had the better of the play. They've got them settled down now. Their defense, I'm really impressed with the way the Canadian defense are standing up.
Here's Lupien to Lambert. Badney chases back to try and beat him to it. Badney comes up with the puck to Johnstone. Johnstone leaving it for Badney. Forechecking was Lambert. Now Maloney carries into the zone to Pierre. Plante shoots, and he missed by 2 or 3 feet in the short side. Penalty coming up there against the Canadiens. Plante firing it around on the boards. And the puck shot to center ice. Risebrough coming up with it. Now play called, and Pierre Plante and Lupien want to get at one another.
Canadiens getting a penalty on the original call on the play. It is Lupien who will be going off. He then, after the referee had his arm up, slammed Plante into the boards when they went in heavily in the corner. And now it is Plante that Lupien is involved with briefly there. The linesman got in. And Lupien heads to the penalty box. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
It's for people like you, people who do what you want at Canadian Tire. Anything you want to.
Want to get a head start on summer? You can do it at Canadian Tire. Our wide selection of sporting goods at everyday low prices is a sure sign that the good weather is on its way.
It's for people like you, people who do Canadian Tire.
Gilles Lupien is off for tripping. Second straight penalty call against Montreal, and there you see it as he hauls down Ron Duguay in front of the Canadiens' net.
So the Rangers with another power play chance here. McEwen, number 27 at his own line. Over to Greshner. Greshner crosses the red line, fired it in. Dryden leaving it in behind the net. Robinson got it out on the boards. Rangers, McEwen holding it in. Now Gainey flips it to center. And going back after it is Greshner. On the right side for Murdoch, dropping it back to Greshner. To Don Maloney. Here's the Ranger rookie, Don Maloney. Trying to work around Chartrand. Chartrand gives him a rough ride back of the net. And Chartrand, number 27, then is bumped by Greshner. Here's Maloney, to Esposito in front of the net, and he just failed to tip it in. McEwen on the boards for New York. Mike McEwen, number 27, centered one, and it hopped over Greshner's stick and comes back to center.
We have a couple penalties coming here. Esposito and Chartrand, I think, Dick. They're doing a little pushing and shoving in front of the net.
Espo, they've been after him a little bit. He has been upset. He's drawn an unusually large number of penalties, I would think, for him in a playoff series. There goes Chartrand. Phil has had 3 double minors along with Rod Langway, and now here he goes with Rick Chartrand. So the Rangers will still have a power play. 1:08 left in the original penalty to the Canadian Gilles Lupien.
Like I said the other night, this is one of the toughest plays to defend against, a 4-on-3, and the Rangers had 2 the other night. They have got to capitalize on this. They can go ahead with 9 minutes to go in the period, and it would be a great lift for them. But they must, the last penalty didn't have a shot on net, and they've got to get some shots on net. They've got to get their power play going. They had one of the best power plays in the league all year, and they must get it going here in the playoffs.
Slashing penalties against Esposito and Chartrand. The Rangers with this dangerous 4-on-3 chance now. And 1-1 is the score. Here's Hedberg moving in on left wing. Robinson beats him to the puck, cleared it on the boards, and Savard quickly clears to center. Robinson and Savard are on defense with Lemaire the only forward. Rangers work at the number 18, Kachuk. Savard tipped it away, and Lemaire fires it down the ice. Rangers trying to get on track on a power play as McEwen leads the rush to center in for Grester, and that pass hit the linesman D'Amico, and the Rangers have to go back for it. McEwen dropping it back for Grester. Savard is there. He lost it back to Grester. Grester into the corner, bumped by Robinson. In comes Savard, and they hold it, and the faceoff will be in the Montreal zone to the right of Dryden.
Danny on the Canadiens bench. Bobby, the Canadiens had both their defensemen in the same corner at the same time right there.
Well, you've got to be very careful there. They were pretty sure that they were going to be able to freeze the puck, and Robinson and Savard are so big and strong in this series. They've just been so strong on the boards, and it's so important. Very, very, very strong.
That first Canadiens penalty, 18 seconds remain. That's to Lupia. Chartrand Esposito also in the penalty box.
On this 4-on-3, the Rangers still haven't had a shot on that. If they're going to win this game, they've got to get their power play going.
Now Jarvis getting ready for a face-off against Sheehan deep in the Montreal zone. 18 seconds left as a quick shot comes near the goal, cleared away by Dryden. Now Jarvis trying to shoot it out. Badney held it in. His shot nowhere near the net. Sheehan racing in after it and centered it, but Jarvis is there, and Jarvis cleared it to center ice. Badney has it there. Now back on is Lupia as the Canadiens have killed it off and clear it down the ice. And as Badney goes back and touches it, icing called against the Montreal Canadiens.
So again, the Canadiens hang on as John Davidson, you might have heard him hollering as the icing call was about to be made down in the New York zone. And there is Rod Gilbert, a former Ranger great, who the last time his team was in the finals was one of the scoring stars for New York, as Bobby and the Bruins knocked them out in 6 games. April 19th, you know where you were, Mr. Orr, 5 years ago this afternoon?
Yes, I think we're in Philadelphia, losing the Stanley Cup.
Flyers 1, Bruins nothing. Sorry about that.
Here are the Canadiens. Tremblay getting it to center. Sheehan back after it. Teams each a man short now as Badner feeds it in for Hickey. Leaves it for Badner. Badner centered one, deflected by Hickey, and Dryden just got a piece of it. And the Canadiens get it to center. Sheehan cleared it. Langway is there to get it back in for Montreal, and the veteran of the Ranger defense, Badner, takes over. Carol Badner for Hickey. Off his skate, and Engblom hustles back for Montreal and cleared it up over the glass.
Esposito on his feet. He's in the penalty box with Chartrand. They have 5 seconds left, so Phil decides to sit out the last 5 seconds. That was a tremendously emotional afternoon that day in Philadelphia. The 2 biggest outbursts of emotion that I've ever been involved with the Stanley Cup being one, the one in Boston, in 70, Bobby, when you scored in overtime on St. Louis, the one in Philadelphia, but the Stanley Cup's been on the road more than at home of late. You won it on the road here in 72.
It was fun winning it on the road and getting home, and when returning home, the reception at the airport was incredible. And of course, winning it at home is not too bad either. They're great thrills.
Now the Canadiens flip it in. Lafleur racing in after it. They work it in front. Johnstone is there. Penalized players are back on, so teams are at full strength as Mike McEwen carries to the line over onto the other wing. Marois fires a long one in. 1-1 the score here in the first period. McEwen centering one in front of the net. Johnstone had it, didn't know he had it, and the Canadiens clear it to center. Lemaire picks it up. Number 25, Jacques Lemaire. fakes the shot, leaves it for Shutt, shoots, and Davidson came out and made the save. Centered again by Shutt, but no one was there, and it comes to center ice. Going to be a penalty against the Rangers as Robinson tries to work it in. And Plot is back for the Rangers, and now the delay penalty against New York, and Montreal will have a power play chance.
Live from Madison Square Garden in New York, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
There are over 10 million Lufkin power tapes in the world. The blade is high-carbon steel, drawn in Lufkin's own rolling mill. Its markings are true to 88 thousandths of an inch over a 100-foot length. Its epoxy finish is tough, yet flexible to resist impact. Its casing is as resilient as steel, yet 6 times lighter. Lufkin, from the Cooper Tool Group. We make once-in-a-lifetime tools.
Rangers number 17, Ed Johnson, on the penalty box off for slashing at 13:54. 7th minor penalty of the game. 4 of them have been for slashing.
On the face-off, the Rangers now shorthanded as Badney tried to clear it. Tied up on the board. Shutt coming up with it. Hedberg is there. Now Shutt centers to Lambert. Lambert centers. Davidson, as it was deflected, got a piece of it. And now the Rangers shoot at the center ice, and Lafleur has to go back. Montreal with the man advantage. Johnstone in the penalty box is Lafleur. Passes on the left side to Shutt. Over on the other wing for Napier. Napier trying to move into the corner. Being checked in the play. The Rangers clear it. Lafleur held it in. Shoots one, and that's blocked by Badner. Now Shutt had a chance. He was checked. Lafleur fired one. And it's stopped by Dave Maloney, who feeds it to Hedberg. Hedberg circling back to Badner, to Dave Maloney. Now to Hedberg. Hedberg trying to get away from Gainey. And Gainey makes the check and drops it to Robinson. Return pass to Bob Gainey, number 23. Gainey, poke check by Badner. Lafleur tried to pick it up. He couldn't. Now a shot by Lemaire is blocked. Lemaire again shooting, and Badner split across the block. And Napier to Gainey, who missed it from close in. Now Lafleur to Robinson, a drive. Davidson strolls and makes the save. And Robinson shot from the left point.
You know, that first goal of Montreal's with John Davidson coughing up the puck in back of his net. You wondered what it might have done to him, Bobby. Now he's getting tested, and he's back in the hockey game.
Playing pretty well right here. And Gainey misses the puck here. Doesn't get good wood on it. Or he had a sure goal there if he could have got good wood on it. The puck comes back to Robinson, and it hits someone in front of the net. I think it hits Gainey here in front of the net. John picks it up and makes the save. It's Badney taking Gainey down.
Tremendous action. Great pressure by the Canadiens.
40 seconds left in Johnstone's penalty. Lemaire against Duguay, face-off in the Ranger zone. 4:45 left in the period, which is the first. 1-1 the score. The Rangers work it over onto the left side, and McEwen fires it down the ice. Duguay racing in for the Rangers, but Langway beats him to it for Montreal. To Gainey. Now here's Duguay trying to skate Gainey off. Gainey to Savard. Savard on right wing for Houle. Houle moving it into Lemaire. Jacques Lemaire tied up by Greshner. Now behind the net to Houle, who couldn't control it. And the Rangers clear the zone as Vickers shot at the length of the ice. Just a couple of seconds left in Johnstone's penalty. Now he's back on. So the Rangers have killed it off. Canadiens, Langway shooting it in. Johnstone back to touch it, and icing is called against Montreal. 3:57 left in the first period. 1-1 is the score.
And you see the response the Rangers draw from the fans for hanging on during that Canadiens power play.
The Rangers killed that penalty off just like the Canadiens have been killed. They've been forcing the play. Even in the Canadiens' end, when they shoot it in, they're sending the 2 guys in and going after them. And in order to be successful as Canadians, you have to go after them. You can't give them that time to control the puck. And the Rangers did it, killing that penalty, and they were very successful.
Shots on goal in the game as Fred Shero goes to his notepad again. Unofficial shots, by the way. The Rangers 8, the Canadiens 7. Face-off coming up in the Montreal zone. Esposito is tossed out of there. Now Murdoch took the draw from Jarvis, got it behind the net. Murdoch tied up by Engblom, and Engblom passes to Risebrough, who is able to get it to center. Dave Maloney. Over onto the other side, the Rangers work it to Don Maloney. Now to Esposito. He couldn't control the pass. Tremblay for Montreal had it momentarily. Now here's Don Maloney. Lets a quick wrist shot go. Glove saved by Dryden. Engblom trying to clear it. And Marois fanned on it at the right point. Drops it back to his own line to Dave Maloney. Ahead to Don Maloney. That's Savard beating Don Maloney to the puck. Cleared it out on the right wing side, and Tremblay flips it to the Ranger line. Just over 3 minutes to play in the first period. 1-1 the score. Dave Maloney to center ice. Here is Pat Hickey. Drops to Esposito. Esposito shoots one. Murdoch scores! Don Murdoch!
The puck hits somebody. Esposito shoots the puck to the front of the net. Pat Hickey's had a very strong period. Makes a play, gets it back to Phil here. Phil shoots it towards the net. It hits someone, and it goes right out to Murdoch. Murdoch's got the open net.
And Hickey following it on the play eliminated Dryden right through the goal crease. So Murdoch pops his first goal of this series.
If you haven't got the puck, that's the place to go, right to the net. When that hit, I think it hit the Canadian defenseman and went right back to Murdoch.
For Don Murdoch, his 7th goal of the playoffs, and the Rangers lead for the second time in this game. It comes with 2:57 remaining in the first period.
Phil was being checked. Esposito was being checked. He didn't have a real good play to make. So the same as Tremblay did last night, or in Thursday night's game, he shot the puck towards the net. It hit a body and was on the Murdoch stick, and they're ahead 2-1.
So Esposito and Hickey get the assist as Pierre Mondeau comes out for Montreal against Bobby Sheehan. And the Canadiens trailing 2-1, work it to the Ranger line. Greshner got it out. Now Lafleur trying to work around. He does, but it rolled off his stick. Lafleur centering one. Greshner is there. He's checked by Lafleur. Canadiens trying to center it, and Greshner flipped it behind his own goal for Badney on right wing to Devlois. Got it to the line. Robinson held it into Lafleur. Lafleur moving in and never could get the shot away. And Sheehan backhands it down the ice for the Rangers, and New York will be called for icing.
Well, there's Serge Savard on the Canadiens bench. I'll be chatting with him in the first intermission. And yesterday, Serge was presented with the Masterton Trophy at the Stanley Cup luncheon. A very popular choice for that particular NHL award, voted on by the writers. At the same time, Al Arbour of the New York Islanders was presented with the Jack Adams Trophy, as voted on by the NHL Broadcasters Association. Kind of a tough spot for Arbour yesterday. Of course, the Islanders upset by the Rangers. It was his first public appearance, if you will, since that time here in New York. Media types are all over him, but he handled himself very well, as usual.
Scotty Bowman, the coach of the Canadiens, his team trailing 2-1 with 2:21 left in the first period. Face-off in the Ranger zone. Duguay and Lemire fight for the draw, but they rule the puck was dropped unfairly. So they'll do it over again. I think they ruled it Badney was in the circle. Lemire and Duguay and the Canadiens get it. Robinson shoots one off Davidson's shoulder. Rangers cleared and cleared up over the glass.
John Davidson's playing with a lot more confidence, Bobby, to be sure, and he's doing something here tonight that you pointed out he was perhaps lax in the other night, is that he's challenging the shooter a bit more, not giving him as much room.
With the shooters that the Canadiens have, you've got to go out and challenge them. You just cannot stay back in that net. You're just giving them too much to shoot at. But he's quick tonight. He's playing like he did the first game against Montreal and the playoffs before that. He's very, very sharp tonight.
Walter Tkachuk against Lemire on this face-off. It's to the right of the Ranger goal. Puck dropped. Comes over onto the far wing, and Vickers speeds after it for New York. But checked by Houle, who got it back into the Ranger zone. Badney clearing it out, and Anders Hedberg has it for New York. To Steve Vickers. Vickers crosses the red line, fired it in. And the play is whistled down. I'm not sure if they ruled it went up over the boards and hit a cameraman and came back on or what, but they whistled the play down. A lot of cameramen right in that area along the boards, and it may have gone up and hit someone and came back onto the ice, but they whistled the play down.
A lot of expensive lenses down there, too.
Rangers leading in the game 2-1, 1:58 left in the first period. Firing it in, the Rangers. Savard is back for Montreal. A long pass to Gainey. Goes all the way down the ice. They're going to rule no icing as they rule the Rangers could have played it. And Badney takes over for New York. To Dave Maloney. Now to Vickers into the center ice area to Kachuk. Slaps one around in the boards. Digging in is Hedberg. Hedberg bumped by Lupien. Vickers on the puck. Got it in front, but Savard calmly carries away for Montreal. Cleared it. Now here's Vickers to the side of the net. They have a chance, and Hedberg couldn't catch up with the puck at the edge of the crease. Rangers work it to Dave Maloney. Shooting and deflected by Hedberg just wide. And now Jarvis for Montreal feeds to Houle. Broken up by Marois. And the Rangers try and work it out of their own zone. Less than a minute to play in the period. Risebrough doing some good forechecking. Breaks it up. Here's Vickers to center ice to Don Murdoch. Trying to work around Lupien. Savard back in the corner out to Tremblay. Rink wide to Lupien. Long shot from center ice. Davidson makes the pad save, and Esposito feeds it out on right wing for Murdoch. He got it to center. Tremblay shoots it back in. Rangers work it to center again. Tremblay carrying in on right wing, but Lambert had moved in ahead of the play offside at the New York line.
Lambert was a little upset there. He thought that Phil kicked his feet out from under him.
No.
I think it was an accident.
Yvon Lambert.
Down to 29 seconds left in the period.
That line the other night, Yvon Lambert on the left side, Risebrough and Tremblay, outstanding for Montreal. Everybody talking about it yesterday, how they were the dominating threesome, as we see some of the high aerial circus apparatus hanging from the roof here at Madison Square Garden. 2 circus shows here today.
Just 29 seconds left. Hickey and Murdoch had scored for the Rangers. Houle for Montreal. It is Lemaire, Lafleur, and Shutt up front for the Canadiens. Esposito, Don Maloney, and Murdoch for the Rangers. On the faceoff, the Rangers drop it back to Dave Maloney. Shutt knocked it down, but Davidson cleared it away. Badney shot it along the boards. It hit the referee. It comes back to Badney. Badney to Murdoch, who flipped it to center. Langway dumps it right back in. Just 10 seconds left in the period. Badney being forechecked by Lafleur. To Murdoch, to Don Maloney. 3 seconds left in the period as Maloney moves in, and there is the buzzer to end period 1 here at Madison Square Garden. And goals by Hickey and Murdoch for the Rangers have given New York a 2-1 lead on Montreal. Houle has scored for the Canadiens.
Well, a much better period for the Rangers and their fans, who obviously enjoyed what they saw. They started very strongly. The Canadiens cooled them out a bit toward the middle part of the period, but the Rangers came on very strongly toward the end. And so the score at the end of the first period, the New York Rangers 2, the Montreal Canadiens 1.
Played as we go into the second period. We're waiting for Doug Jarvis to step in for the face-off as we look at Ken Dryden. Duguay against Jarvis, and the second period is underway, and Robinson immediately goes back into his own end of the rink to get control for Montreal. Duguay in forechecking. Robinson cleared it off the boards, broken up there, and Marois backhands it back in, and again Robinson has to chase back for it. Shot it into the center ice area. Tipped away. Jarvis had it momentarily. Now Johnstone losing it, and Gainey has it for Montreal. Fires it around in the boards. Davidson setting it up for McEwen. Canadians send 2 men in to forecheck. Gainey coming up with it, but falls, and Johnstone, number 17, comes back for New York. Played it off the boards. Dryden behind the goal. Cleared it on the wing for Gainey. Gainey flipping it down, and Mike McEwen goes back for the Rangers. And as he touches it, icing is called against Montreal.
Now there's number 5 of the Rangers, Carol Vadnais. Bobby, former teammate of yours in Boston.
You know, there were many saying that Vad was finished, and I'm so charged. He's been, you know, they have a very, very young defense, and Vad's the old-timer of defense, and he's played very, very well. The experience is just, I'm very, very happy, and I'm sure many others are also.
I tell you, he withstood a lot of guff here in New York. I can remember doing games here on radio last season, and they just booed him every time he got near the puck, but he hung tough, and they like him here now.
Now from the face-off, Mario Tremblay clearing it to Risebrough. He flipped it into Lambert, who has a break. Shoots Davidson, slides out. Key save on Lambert. DeBlois comes back for the Rangers. Slaps a shot just wide of the net. And Tremblay for Montreal to Lambert. Lambert trying to work it to Risebrough, is knocked down in the play, and there's going to be a penalty against Dave Maloney. Delayed penalty coming up. And now play called, and Vadnais trying to get at somebody on the Canadiens. So is Pat Hickey back to the net.
Mario Tremblay was involved first off. Then Risebrough came in to try to haul Tremblay away. Now Tremblay's got the gloves off. I would think the Canadiens at this point should skate away. The Rangers have drawn the penalty.
And if they're not careful, if Tremblay is not careful, he's going to go here. He's trying to get at Hickey. I think Dave Maloney came in. He took exception to someone hit Bobby Sheehan. This is where it originally started.
It was Tremblay, I think, when the penalty had been called on Maloney. Sheehan and Tremblay got in back of the net. That's what started that hassle. There's Lambert. What a chance he just had to score. There is Maloney, who is upset as he heads to the penalty box. And I guess, is Tremblay going there too? It's going to be a hooking call against Maloney. All right, we'll see how the initial penalty came about right here as Maloney hooks Lambert. The hassle started after that. From Madison Square Garden in New York, this is Stanley Cup 79.
You said you'd teach me the TV repair business. That's what you said. In 2 years, I've worked on every color set, but never Hitachi. Never.
One more try, kid. Okay, we'll ask right here. TV repair, ma'am. We've come to check your set. No charge.
Oh, no. We've got a Hitachi. Who needs service?
Kid, promise me, if you ever get inside a Hitachi, come back and tell me all about it.
The fans of the Garden are upset at referee Andy Van Helleman. He has had team captain Dave Maloney of the Rangers to the penalty box for hooking at 118. They are upset because nothing further developed after Canadian players like Tremblay and Risebrough got very vigorous against the Rangers. So there you see it, Maloney off, and the Canadiens have a power play chance.
Lemaire is at center, Lambert on right wing, Shut on the left side. What a key save Davidson made just prior to that penalty on Lambert, who broke in alone. Walter Tkachuk ready to take the face-off against Lemaire. Montreal on the power play, and Greshner cleared it to Vadnais, around in the boards to Hedberg. He and Lafleur jam up on the boards. Puck comes loose to Shut, and the shot deflects wide. Canadiens trying to center. Shut in control, drops it back to Lafleur. To Robinson at the left point, shooting, and that deflects wide. And deflected right up over the glass.
You know, Bobby, there's one thing you've got to say. The Rangers have done a fine job, especially here in New York, of containing Guy Lafleur. And again, the Canadiens are in a position that he will have to get loose somehow.
Well, if you're going to beat the Canadiens, you've got to look after Guy Lafleur. He's the big guy for them. And you talked earlier about Davidson coming out, cutting down the angle. He came way out on that and got a stick on that shot by Robinson. But that's what he's got to do against the Canadiens. He's got to come out and challenge them.
There the Canadiens getting it to the right point. Lafleur shoots one. Davidson kicked out his left leg and makes a save. Now Lambert being watched by Vadnais. Drops it to Robinson. To Lafleur. Lets the shot go. That goes wide. Davidson cleared it away. Now Greshner for New York trying to fire it out. Lafleur knocked it down, and Tkachuk passes to Hedberg, skated off by Robinson. Shot back in by Montreal. Greshner is there to pick it up. Now Lambert moving in, and they fall on top of the puck down in the corner.
I think he's called Lambert
the
here.
Canadiens are going to get a penalty. It looks like Greshner was the one who was hauled down. There's a penalty coming up on the play. No, it's Jacques Lemaire. So they'll play 5-a-side. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
Come along with Ford for an inside look at the 7 anti-corrosion processes of the DuraGuard system. Pre-coated steel, galvanized steel, phosphate tunnel spray, corrosion-resistant primer, vinyl sealer, vinyl coating, and aluminized wax. The DuraGuard system is backed by a manufacturer's warranty against corrosion perforation. The DuraGuard system, advanced technology, protection that's built in right from the start.
A little over a minute left in the Ranger penalty to Maloney. Lemaire nullifies the Canadiens' advantage as he's sent off for tripping on Greshner at the 2:15 mark.
A minute 3 left in Maloney's penalty, so when he comes back on, here we go with the Rangers clearing it to center ice. Canadiens take over, and Mondeau, number 6, works his way into the Ranger zone with Gainey. Mondeau flips it near the net. Davidson tipped it away with his goal stick. Marois has broken his stick as the Rangers try and clear it. Duguay over onto the left side for Vickers, number 8. Marois heads to the bench to get a new stick, and the Rangers try and work it out of there as McEwen breaks loose on left wing. Trying to go around Savard. McEwen centered one off a Canadiens player wide of the net. Center to Duguay. Marois at the point. Had trouble controlling the puck, and then as he cleared it in, he cleared it up over the glass.
Well, there's the Canadiens' big bird, Larry Robinson, who gets a brief rest and gets back out there.
Larry is going to see a lot of ice tonight.
Exactly 3 minutes gone here in the second period. The Rangers leading the game 2-1. Hickey and Murdoch scoring for New York in the first period. Réjean Houle for Montreal. And you see how effective Robinson has been offensively for the Canadiens this year in the playoffs.
Dave Maloney with 19 seconds left. Lemaire a minute 16. So when Maloney comes back on, the Rangers will have the man advantage. They lead in the game, as Dick just told you, 2-1. Robinson giving it to Savard. Back to Robinson. Now at center ice for Jarvis, in with Gainey, a 2-on-1 break. Gainey back to Jarvis, and it just failed to click. And Greshner for the Rangers comes to center. To Vickers. Maloney is back on. Rangers on the power play. Center one, Savard cleared it away. Now Gainey and Duguay battle for it. Duguay behind the net, centered out in front by Vickers. Jarvis cleared it. Now Robinson slapping it around on the boards, and Badney was unable to hold it in at the point. Carol Badney for Murdoch. And the play goes offside at the Montreal blue line. 31 seconds left in the Lemaire penalty to Montreal.
Well, young Rod Langway, Bobby mentioned in the first period, he has seen a lot of ice time in the games here in New York. And he's been out there tonight again, equally to an equal degree. Brian Engblom in behind him as Scotty Bowman goes again with 6 defensemen for the most part in this game, although certainly Savard and Robinson are drawing the lion's share. The Lions even agree with that down below, Mr. Kelly. John Ziegler, president of the National Hockey League, looking on. And he has to be pleased at the entertainment being provided in the playoffs this year.
Puck into the Ranger zone. Rangers still on the power play. Lemaire in the penalty box as Marois comes up with the puck. Lemaire now has 20 seconds left to serve. Esposito leading a 3-man rush, firing it in. Dryden cleared it. Esposito keeps on going in behind the net for Don Maloney. He gets it to Murdoch. Murdoch trying to circle away from some checking. Behind the net to Don Maloney. Back to Murdoch, broken up by Savard. Maloney to Murdoch. Lemaire is back on as the Canadiens clear it. And here's Tremblay ahead to Lemaire. One man back for the Rangers. Lemaire shoots. Davidson pad save on Lemaire, who had just come out of the penalty box. Now centered, but Esposito for New York. Esposito trying to work around Robinson. Shot it right through the goal crease. And Lafleur passes to Schutt. Schutt trying to work around Marois, shoots, and he blasted it wide in the short side. Now Lemaire for the Canadiens. Sanders won, and no one near the crease. Robinson has shot wide of the net. And the Rangers get it to center. Lafleur has it there for Montreal. Dumps it in for the Canadiens. Marois hustling back to beat shut to it on the left wing side for Don Maloney, and they hold it there, and the faceoff will be in the Ranger zone.
This is Stanley Cup 79 from Madison Square Garden in New York.
It's for people like you, people who do what you want at Canadian Tire. Anything you want to.
This summer, you want your car in perfect condition, so get it fixed up now at Canadian Tire. Whether you do it or we do it for you, we have the things you need and the prices you're looking for.
It's for people like you, people who do Canadian Tire.
Unofficial shots on goal to this point in the hockey game. The Rangers haven't had a shot yet here in the second period. They played 5 minutes and 7 seconds. The Canadiens have had 4 on Davidson, and some pretty good scoring chances for Montreal.
On a face-off in the Ranger zone, they work it into the center ice area. Engblom for Montreal. Number 3 dumping it back in. That deflected. Davidson had to make a save. Here's Lafleur, but the play had been called back as the puck was hit with a high stick.
Message delivered to you from some of your old buddies in Boston, I understand.
Yes, Terry O'Reilly is called, and all the Bruins are watching, and they think number 4 is doing all right. Thanks very much, guys.
Here are the Rangers from the face-off. Badney trying to clear it. Lemaire centered for Lafleur, and it popped over his stick. Plante shot it to center for New York. Now Engblom. Rangers lead 2-1 as the Canadiens. Engblom dumps it in. Plante getting it back of the net, or at least trying to. Now Lemaire ties up Pierre Plante and forces a face-off in the New York zone.
Well, there's the Canadiens veteran centerman Jacques Lemaire in his 144th playoff game tonight. 59 playoff goals, the 59th in Game 3 here on Thursday. And he is second in the all-time playing playoff point totals amongst active players in the NHL today. Stan Mikita leading.
Face-off coming up to the left of the Ranger goal. Rangers come up with it, and Badney carries to center ice. 2-on-2 break here for New York. Savard breaks it up, and then Lupiak cleared to center. Dave Maloney for Badney. He flips it high in the air into the Montreal zone. Digging in after it is Plante. He's tied up by Savard. Savard shooting it out on left wing. Houle couldn't catch up with it. Now Napier races in for Montreal. Gets it to Houle behind the net again for Napier. Skated off, and Dave Maloney trying to clear it. Rangers couldn't get it out of there. Held in by Houle. Now Badney flipping it off the boards. Rangers do get it outside the line this time, and Mondeau circles back to Napier. Maloney skating him off. Napier gets it. Maloney breaks the play up. Was upended, but got it to Plante. Then he and Johnstone run into each other. Badney for New York. To Johnstone. Shoots, and he blasted one wide in the short side. Here's McEwen. And Johnstone cut in front of the net, but couldn't get a stick on it. Duguay for New York. Back to McEwen. Dryden cleared it away behind the net, and Lupiak passes to Lambert. Greshner holding it in for New York. Into the corner. Hickey centering one, loose in front of the net, and the Canadiens break it up, and back they come, led by Lambert. Lambert to Tremblay. Trying to get it back to Lambert. He did, but the Ranger defense breaks it up. Lupiak flips it in behind the net. Now Tremblay and Sheehan go to the corner after it. Canadiens move in, get it to Lambert at the side of the net, and Greshner breaks it up for the Rangers. Greshner, check, Lambert for Montreal. To Lupiak. Lupiak's shot, and Johnstone blocked it. Chartres shoots, Davidson just got his arm on it, and a penalty coming up here against the Rangers. Canadiens center it on the delayed penalty. Lupiak couldn't get the puck, and now play called, and the penalty against New York.
With the score, the Rangers 2, the Canadiens 1. This is Stanley Cup 79.
Last fall, the economic leaders of the 7 major industrialized countries met in Germany. Prime Minister Trudeau represented Canada. And since that summit, Canada has outperformed the economies of all these countries. The summit meets again this June. Canada could be represented by the intelligence and experience of Prime Minister Trudeau, or the fuzzy, untried policies of a Joe Clark. The choice for Canada's economic future in the world is yours. We need tough leadership to grow. A leader must be a leader. Support Prime Minister Trudeau.
Ranger defenseman Mike McEwen, number 27, off for holding at 7:21, and there at the right of your screen you see him putting the grab up high on the Canadiens' Doug Risebrow. So Montreal with a power play chance.
And the Canadiens have outplayed the Rangers here in the first part of this second period. And now have a power play chance as McEwen is off. Rangers try and get it out. It's held in at the point by Montreal. Back to the left point to Lemaire. Lemaire shoots one, loose in front. Here's Gainey after the puck. He drops it to Lemaire. A drive, and it goes wide. Davidson may have tipped it with a stick on the way by.
I think that was deflected by a Canadian player out of the rink.
Yeah, that's what the argument's
and
about.
Vadnais is very upset about it. He thinks the face-off should be down the ice. You know, the Rangers have not had a shot on net in this period. And if they're going to try to sit on this 2-1 lead with half the game hasn't even gone by, they're going to be in trouble. The Canadiens have really come on.
What's that last sequence?
Second period.
Shot,
it's a shot by Lemaire. I think one of the Canadian players tipped it out of the rink.
Yeah, shot.
Yep. Shot tipped it out.
And the officials say Vadnais. Andy Van Hellemond is firm on the decision, and the face-off is in the New York zone.
Duguay against Lafleur. Duguay gets the puck and does clear the zone. Canadiens on the power play. Lemaire over to Gainey. Gainey with Lafleur across the line to Shutt. Shutt centered, and Lafleur couldn't get a stick on it at the side of the crease. Now Robinson for Gainey. Into Steve Shutt. Dropping it back, and it goes all the way back into the Montreal zone. A minute 15 left in McEwen's penalty. Number 25 is Lemaire. A point man on this power play to Robinson. Now to Shutt. Shutt moves it into Napier to Lafleur, and broken up and cleared away by Maloney for New York. Going back is Robinson. 55 seconds left in the penalty as Robinson leaves it for Lemaire. Jacques Lemaire trying to get away from Tkachuk. Dumps it into the Ranger zone. Greshner is there. It went off a skate right in front of the net, and the Rangers quickly clear it. Here's Robinson. Works away from Hedberg. Robinson drops it to Lemaire, shooting, and he shot it high off the glass. Now Robinson to Lafleur. In front, Lemaire tipped it wide. Hedberg has it for New York after knocking down Tremblay, and Hedberg clears it to center ice. Napier injured on that last rush by Montreal is on the bench. Here's Lafleur. Dropping it back for Tremblay. Centered in front and tipped away, and Greshner for New York starts back. To Tkachuk. Tkachuk trying to move through. It's cleared away by Dryden. And the penalized player, McEwen, is back on. Now, the Canadiens, Lafleur moving in. Trying to barge through the defense. Gets it to Tremblay, and Davidson just got a piece of Tremblay's shot. Now Robinson to Tremblay. Shoots. Davidson makes the save and kicked it out with his pad. And Esposito comes back. Rangers still lead 2-1. They dump it into the center ice area, the Canadiens do. Greshner shoots it right back in. Langley for Montreal, clearing it to center. Here's Marois to Dave Maloney. Houle checked him. Houle cleared it and intercepted by Murdoch. He flips it into the Montreal zone. Robinson for the Canadiens, being forechecked by Esposito. Now it's Savard to Langley. To Risebrow, picked up by Houle. Houle trying to go through the defense. Risebrow had a chance at it, but the Rangers start back. Maloney leaving it for Murdoch. Over on the wing for Don Maloney, and the play is offside at the Montreal line.
And the crowd was chanting JD for John Davidson, and he's been keeping them in the game. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
There is a quartz watch you can trust.
Yeah?
It has electronic quartz accuracy.
Quartz. That's advanced.
Plus, Bulova Accutron dependability.
Bulova Accutron. Now that's dependable.
Introducing the new Bulova Accutron quartz.
Ah.
Beautiful and slim. Unbeatably accurate.
Oh?
And virtually maintenance-free.
I like it. I feel I can trust it.
We hoped you would.
Now John Davidson, the big man, as the Rangers continue to lead 2-1. Trombley, the shooter here, Bobby. That's the one the Canadiens had their sticks up, some of them. But look,
They thought it was in the net.
he kicked it.
Couldn't tell from that angle.
Back to the live action as Gainey speeds in on left wing for Montreal. Got it to Jarvis, shooting it around into the other wing for Mondeau. He couldn't get to it. Chartrand shoots one in front. There's Gainey, backhander, and Davidson again with a key save for the Rangers. As the Canadiens come very close. Now Marois wrestling around in the corner with a Montreal player, Jarvis, and he knocked him down, and now everybody comes into that corner to the right of the New York goal.
Boy, what a display we are seeing by John Davidson. The Canadiens, Bobby, right here, have totally taken the game away from the Rangers. They had the power play, of course. They have outshot the Rangers in this period 6-1. The Rangers shot was from very far out, and the New York team still leads at 2-1.
Like I said earlier, if the Rangers, it's a terrible mistake to try to sit on this. With a 2-1 lead, and the game's just half over, a little over half over. The Canadiens, they'll be popping them here in a minute. If it weren't for Davidson, they could be out of this game. He's made 4 or 5 great saves this period.
Well, Howie said it at the top of the show. If the Rangers are to win, Davidson's got to be the first or second star of the game. Well, if they ended things right now, he'd be number 1.
Duguay against Lemaire. 8:45 left in the second period. Still a 2-1 Ranger lead. Here's Lupia's shot. Davidson handles that easily. Now it's Badner. Over on the wing, the Rangers work it to Johnstone. He fires it in, and the play is offside at the Montreal blue line.
Ron Duguay just a little over anxious, heading down the right side on that play, and the offside call is made. No argument from the Rangers. He's had a pretty good playoff year with 5 goals and 4 assists. Now looking on in civvies, Wayne Thomas to the left of your screen, and Dean Talafas, a couple of Rangers not in uniform. Thomas was the backup the other night. French here alternates Thomas and Sotar. Sotar the backup tonight.
Here's Lupien to Savard to Lemaire. Gressner intercepting, shot it back into the Montreal zone. Savard over for Lupien. Lupien cleared it into the center ice area. Now Lafleur, and that play is called back on a delayed offside at the Montreal blue line.
Look at the Ranger player heading out over the line, and we see a young fan here amongst the crowd of 17,000 plus at Madison Square Garden.
I'm not sure if his eyes are above that pole or not.
Here is Montreal on the attack as Lemaire fires it in. That's Lafleur digging in after it. Grester checked him, and now Plante almost lost it in front of his own net. They get it to Johnstone, number 17. Ahead for Duguay. He has to circle back. Now Lemaire is after Duguay. Cleared it to the Canadiens line. Lupien has it there. Big Gilles Lupien firing it in. Gressner back for the Rangers. Lafleur on top of him, pinning him there and forcing a face-off in the New York zone.
And Guy Lafleur continues to be frustrated by the Rangers checking.
Well, I'm sure the Rangers know that if they let him go for a second, he's going to put that puck in the net. And you know,
Probably he's the first player to hit the 20-point mark in playoff competition 3 years in a row.
He's a pretty good hockey player, Dick.
Yeah, he'll hang around for a while, I think. You'd take him in Chicago, I guess. Or anywhere else.
Canadiens, at this point in the period, have outshot the Rangers 7-1. Robinson along the boards, got it to Risebrough, centered. Napier banned on it. Napier getting it behind the net to Gainey. Gainey checked by Marois. Rangers work it over onto the wing, but Risebrough intercepts, trying to center one. Now Gainey fires a shot. Davidson makes a save as he went to his knees, and Marois passes to Deblois. Deblois, lead pass in for Pat Hickey, whose shot deflected wide by Chartrand. And then Dryden reaches out and grabs the puck and held on.
first or second face-off in the Canadian zone this period, as Dryden hung on after that one came off the backboards. Well, we'll be on the air at 8 o'clock Eastern Time Monday from the Forum in Montreal. Game 5. If the Canadiens win tonight, they could wrap it up. If the Rangers win tonight, we'll be back here in New York for Game 6 next Thursday. And it's a 2-1 New York lead with 7:07 remaining in this second period. Dick Irvin here along with Dan Kelly, Bobby Orr, Dave Hodge, and Howie Meeker. Boy, a lot of these fellas saved up their allowance, didn't they, to buy those expensive tickets to get to this game?
Those hats are expensive too, Dick. Very.
All the scoring in the first period. Hickey and Murdoch for the Rangers. Houle for Montreal. Here's Sheehan for the Rangers trying to hold it in. Robinson takes over. And big number 19 for the Canadiens, Robinson, passes to Chartrand. Chartrand, number 27. Crossing the red line, shooting one in. That's Lambert trying to get to the puck, but DeBlois for New York clears it to center. Chartrand could have played the puck, so there's no icing. He has to go back and get it, and as he cleared it up over the glass, and the faceoff will be in the Montreal zone now with 6:37 left in the second period.
Well, Serge Savard's on the bench. Larry Robinson seems headed that way now as Scotty Bowman makes a change.
I don't understand the Rangers. They were successful in the first period going after them, shooting it in and going after them and taking the body. And up to this point in this second period, they have not done that. And the Canadiens have taken the game over.
Important face-off coming up. Walter Tkachuk, number 18 for New York, against Jarvis of Montreal. Tkachuk gets it. Hedberg poked it to the corner, but Savard for Montreal. Gets away from Tkachuk. Serge Savard flipping one in. Vickers back to get it. He missed it. Jarvis picks it up, but Vadnais skates him off behind the net. Now it's Tkachuk. Cleared it on the boards, intercepted by Gainey in behind the net. Houle trying to carry in front, centered one, and Vadnais is there for New York to intercept. Out to Vickers. Canadiens with pressure on again as Houle cleared it behind the net. Now Vadnais. Got it on the boards. Gainey knocks it down. Gainey to Savard. Shooting. It's high off the glass. Houle centered one. But Vadnais was there for New York to clear it. And then Hedberg dumped it into the Montreal zone. Gainey going back. Number 23. Over to Lafleur. Maloney tying him up. Now Lafleur. Breaks in with Lemaire. Back to Lafleur. Shoots. It's blocked by Vadnais. Lafleur again to Engblom. A shot. And again Vadnais makes a save. Lafleur for the Canadiens. To Lemaire. Lemaire in front. Shot. Shot it wide from a sharp angle. Now Savard as the Canadiens continue to pour pressure on. Lafleur trying to get it in front. Rangers break it up. Tkachuk into the center ice area for Hedberg. Over on left wing for Vickers. Now Tkachuk pulls away from Lemaire into the Canadian zone. 3-on-2 break to Hedberg. And Hedberg is banged into the boards by Engblom, and the faceoff will be in the Montreal zone.
And what a great defensive play Carol Vadnais made on Guy Lafleur here just a moment ago. Live from Madison Square Garden in New York, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Hello, I'm Serge Savard. I'm going to give the worst of these junk cars a showroom finish using no wax with this amazing new product, Star Bright. In 30 minutes, under scorching sun and without muscle, I'll give this car a dazzling shine that will last up to a year. Star Bright, it's like getting a new paint job. And imagine how it shines a new car.
Star Bright, a family of cosmetics for your car.
During this playoff year, the Canadiens' Kenny Dryden has moved into second place in total minutes played in Stanley Cup competition, behind only Glenn Hall, and third in games played behind Glenn Hall and Jacques Plante.
Here's Greshner, shoots one. Dryden came out and made a stick save. And the puck comes all the way to center. One of the few shots the Rangers have had in this period. And play is halted.
That's the only dangerous shot they've had in the period. That was a two-line pass in from back of the Ranger line. Funny, the crowd when Reisbrow was dumped, they've been on Van Helleman, of course, constantly tonight. But that time they started to laugh. They kind of figured that their team got off lucky.
Here's Robinson getting it in for Lambert. Lambert gets away from Greshner. Greshner recovers and flips it to center. Murdoch and Robinson race after it. Murdoch gets to the puck, but Robinson knocked him down. Now Don Maloney to Esposito, who directs it wide. Here's Robinson for Lambert to Risebrow, number 8. Risebrow trying to flip it over, and the Rangers come up with it, and here's Murdoch to Mike McEwen on a 4-man break for the Rangers. McEwen shot, and Dryden gets his right arm on it. Big chance there for the Rangers. Here's Esposito. Over for Greshner. Greshner moving in. Greshner centered one, but Tremblay cleared it. Now McEwen a shot. And Chartrand stopped that to Lambert. Over on right wing to Tremblay to Lambert. Lambert a shot, and that goes up over the glass.
We've had some good goaltending in this game. The Ranger defense here recently has been covering up very well. And for his part, Kenny Dryden, Bob, you know, it's pretty tough for a goalie to stand there for 13, 14 minutes in a period without one tough chance to stop and then get a couple thrown at you back to back.
Kenny's had 2 good shots, I think, this period, and he made good saves on them. And you're right, it is tough to, you're cold, you haven't loosened up, and it's a tough play for a goaltender. McEwen did a great job on that play, blocking that shot, too. I think it was Lambert and a point blanker.
That was pretty well a 4-on-1 break. You don't see that happen in the Montreal under the ring very often.
That's the first time in the last 3 games that I can remember New York having a 3-on-2, and that was a 3-on-1. But the Canadians have had that third man coming back very, very well. And that was a 4-on-1, I think, Dan.
Ready on a face-off. We're down to 3:51 left in the period as the Rangers get control. Marois up the middle to number 10, Duguay. He flips it in. Plante going in, Dryden out of the net to tip it away from him. And now the Canadians take control. Napier for Gainey. Back to Napier. Centering one, and it's cleared away by the Rangers. Now Napier stealing it. Napier knocked down by Marois. Mondeau has it. Mondeau trying to work it in front. Backhander, here's Gainey, shoots Davidson, big save. Rebound, Mondeau shoots, and Davidson. Miraculous save while flat on the ice to Rob Mondeau.
Well, he heard all about it when they played the Islanders. The stories kept coming in. Davidson was unbelievable. Now we are finding out, Bobby, that this is what he was doing to them, I guess.
Davidson has definitely kept them in this game in the second period. Like you said earlier, Howie said he had to be first or second star, and he's number 1 right now, and he's certainly playing a heck of a game.
Boy, what a sequence that was. He is so sharp tonight.
He moves so well for a big man.
3 minutes and 13 seconds left in the second period. New York 2, Montreal 1. And the Canadians have run into John Davidson in this period when he has been flawless thus far. Now Langley shot off Davidson's glove. Maloney trying to clear it out. Savard for Lafleur. Lafleur trying to get away from Plante, shoots one. Davidson cleared it away. Plante and Shutt bump on the boards. Shutt to Lafleur. Lafleur trying to get free. Tied up, and Duguay intercepts to Dave Maloney, and that's an offside pass. Over 2 lines, or Dave Maloney would have had a breakaway.
Just taking a step over the blue line. Would have been onside, but it was a heck of a call.
A delayed reaction there on his part when he realized that it was all over. 2:43 left in the second period. The Rangers hanging out of that 2-1 lead. And those of us in the broadcast booth area, like the fans, are just amazed at the play of John Davidson. There is the broadcast booth. High atop Madison Square Garden, our French confrères, René Lecavalier, Gilles Tremblay alongside us. And there you see part of the crowd.
Ken Dryden down at the other end of the Montreal goal crease has not had the pressure on him in this period that Davidson has. Here's Deblois after a loose puck. He couldn't get it. Sheehan racing in. Centered one. Hickey a shot, and Dryden a big save on Hickey. As now Dryden comes up large. Here's Hull moving in. Centered one, and Tremblay couldn't catch up with it. Tremblay flipped it in front. Pat Hickey comes back for New York. Hickey with Sheehan. Sheehan shoots one. Wide by several feet on the short side. Canadians, Lambert trying to get it out of there. Badney held it in. Lambert gets it again. Checked by Sheehan, and the Rangers Hickey moving in. He's checked in. Lambert on left wing. Moves into the New York zone. Shoots one. He scores! Lambert!
Well, Davidson has been coming out on those angles so well tonight, and Lambert is way over on the boards. He can do nothing else but shoot it, and John stayed in the net, and the game is tied up 2-2.
Boy, that was a strange goal from our angle. We couldn't see the puck go in the net, and Davidson literally jumps, Bobby, when he realizes that the puck is by him. And it must have just caught the inside of the post. Might get a better look at it right here.
He might get his glove on it. He may get his glove on it on the far side. But he's on a bad angle.
You know, it never fails. Lambert had that big chance earlier in the period. In all alone, Davidson makes the save. There he is, as you say. Very sharp angle, almost at the boards. And he picks the corner, and it's tied at 2-2. 18:05, Lambert scoring.
Hockey is a funny game. The Rangers, Hickey, had just had their best scoring chance in the period. Canadiens came right back and tied the game up. Now Langway firing one in. And it goes up over the glass. The goal for Lambert is 5th of the playoffs from Hull at 18:05 here of the second period.
It's quite obvious that Davidson is very unhappy with himself. He knows he made a bad play there. And now the Canadiens are right back in the game.
Yeah, but how about all the plays he made before that?
Well, that often happens.
Smoked.
Langway, number 17 for Montreal, flips one down into the Ranger zone. Mike McEwen going back, and as he touches it, icing called against the Canadiens.
See the veteran Serge Savard skating over to talk to the rookie Rod Langway about that icing call made as Langway shot it down. Freddie Shero never changes, slowly moves up and down, back and forth.
I was trying to talk to Freddie about the game before it started. He doesn't really like to talk about it.
Didn't learn very much.
No, he doesn't tell you a whole lot.
Just like Kerry Dordoffer said before the first game. Another look at the goal. Maybe a better look here, Bobby.
I think Davidson, I think he got his glove on it.
Yeah.
Very upset with himself.
Here are the Rangers. Marois shoots one from the point that Dryden makes a stick save on. And Savard shoots it into the Ranger zone. Mario Marois, number 25, back, has the puck behind the New York goal, has a look and passes to his defense partner McEwen. To Vickers. Savard takes over for Montreal and clears it away. Marois has to go back. Feeds up the middle for Kachuk. Kachuk trying to backhand one in. Lemaire knocked it down. Now Marois again for the Rangers. Marois with a minute left in the period. Does get it into the Canadian zone. Savard out to Shutt at center ice. Now Steve Shutt, number 22, for Lemaire, and his shot goes off Vadnais and goes up over the glass.
Bobby, you've talked a lot about the way the Canadiens have taken the play away from New York in this period, have dominated the period. What's impressed me has been the checking of the Montreal forwards. They've just been on top of the Rangers throughout the entire period.
The Canadian defense has played very, very well in the last 3 games, but the forwards, they're there. They're checking their second period. They're checking the same way in this second period as they did in game 2 and 3.
But it's 2-2.
Canadiens have outshot the Rangers in this period 13-4. That's unofficial, but shows the wide edge they've had in the play. Robinson couldn't hold it in at the point as he and Murdoch battle for it. Robinson wins the battle and gets it to Shutt to Lafleur. He flips one in. That's Lemaire going in after it for Montreal, cleared away by Vadnais. Rangers get it to center ice. Lafleur breaks it up there, and here's Robinson. Into the New York zone, Dave Maloney. Around for Vadnais. To Don Murdoch. Broken up by Lemaire. Lemaire, wrist shot high. Up over the goal and up over the glass.
And that's one they rule was put into the crowd by a Montreal player, so the faceoff will come outside the New York line as the perspiration pours through the mask of John Davidson. Boy, he has got to be one tired goaltender right now after what's happened to him in this period.
We're down to 19 seconds left in the period. Esposito on the faceoff, but the Canadiens get it into the Ranger zone. Dave Maloney is there. Maloney being watched by Lambert. Clears it into the Montreal zone. Maloney, the younger Maloney brother, Don raced in. Savard shot it on the boards. Here's Murdoch in behind the net. Don Maloney got it to the side of the goal as the buzzer goes to end the second period. The only goal of the period, Yvon Lambert at 18:05 to tie the hockey game up.
Now there you see the shots on goal. It tells the story as John Davidson leaves. Unofficially, the Canadiens outshooting the Rangers through the second 20 minutes of the hockey game by a margin of 13-5. So the New Yorkers outplayed, but they are still very much in this hockey game as John Davidson was the big star of that second period. The Canadiens taking over, playing a very solid period, and the Rangers hanging on thanks to some great goaltending. The one goal, as Dan mentioned, by Lambert. And so the score at the end of the second period, the Canadiens 2, the Rangers 2.
Robinson to shot, chipped out to Tremblay, now in for Houle. Houle trying to center. Davidson is there to clear it away. Bounced in front. Davidson had to clear it again. Plot being bumped by Houle along the boards. And the puck was held there long enough that we'll have a face-off in the New York zone.
Reggie Houle of the Canadiens, a bit battered. That was a souvenir of game 2 in this series. If we get another look at the area of his right eye. And there's a fellow trying to get a very close-up look at the area of Reggie's right eye.
Mike McEwen, number 27, taking over. Shot it out on the right wing side. Now McEwen over to fight for the puck himself with Lambert. McEwen to Duguay. To Plante, number 24. Ryden missed it back of the net, but Robinson is there to clear it. Johnstone centered. Oh, and Plante deflected it just wide. Great chance for Pierre Plante. McEwen at center. Passed it to Duguay. Chartrand beat him to it for Montreal. And he gets it into the New York zone, but Mike McEwen smartly out of his zone into the rink. McEwen falls, gets it behind the net to Johnstone, tipped away in Chartrand on right wing for Tremblay. Now the Canadiens on the attack. Here's Schutt, shoots one, a quick one. Davidson reached out with his right arm to get a piece of it. Schutt along the boards, fights off 2 Rangers. Now Marois back with Lafleur to Savard. Serge Savard shot deflected near the Ranger goal, and the Rangers pass it into the center ice area for Duguay, number 10. A long shot wide of the net. Lafleur for Montreal to Lemire. All he could do was clear it to center. Vadnais backhanding it back in. Lupiaz there. Now Sheehan intercepting. He's checked. And the Rangers, Vadnais trying to shoot it in, shot it off a stick up over the glass.
From Madison Square Garden in New York, this is Stanley Cup 79.
This is Varipel. With the exclusive Envirosol system, the exterior wood preservative that's so effective, you can think of it as wood insurance. Watch, we soak 2 pieces of wood in water for 24 hours. Then we bake them at 225 degrees for 1 hour. After all this, the wood treated with Varipel is still protected. Protect your investment. Get Varipel and get yourself some wood insurance.
Flecto, when you want to do it right.
Obviously here in New York, hope springs eternal as they had flashed the sign up announcing Game 6 next Thursday. The Rangers have to win here tonight or in Montreal Monday to make that happen.
Napier getting it to Savard as the Canadiens work it to the Ranger line. Dave Maloney shot it back. Here's Hickey flipping one in for Deblois. It's off a Canadiens defenseman sticking up over the glass again.
Pierre Mondeau is a big figure for Montreal in the playoffs last year, especially in the final series against the Bruins. He has not been as effective for the Montreal team this year in the playoffs.
Sheehan for the Rangers got it to the Canadian line, almost stole it from Engblom. And now the Canadiens work it to Napier on a long pass from Langway, but it was offside anyway. The faceoff will be out near center ice.
Well, Mark Napier, number 31, who played in the WHA for 3 seasons, signed. He was a teenager when he turned pro, Bobby, getting his first taste of Stanley Cup action. An offensive-type player in the main.
He's a Montreal-type player, though. Great skater, great speed, and most of the Montreal players have great speed.
Engblom flips it off the boards. Mondeau digs in after it for Montreal. Napier in front. The pass too far ahead for Napier, and Hedberg cleared it. Langway for Montreal. Number 17. Passing it in and off the skate of Napier, and the play goes offside at the Ranger blue line.
Both teams are being a little careful here. A little kitty by the door. It's 2-2, and the third period has just started, so I don't think you'll see anybody try to open it up too quickly.
Both teams making changes. Face-off just on the Montreal side of center as Mike McEwen shoots it in. Hedberg in there, gets some help from Kachuk. Kachuk coming up with the puck to Hedberg, and a big save by Dryden on Anders Hedberg. Kachuk to Vickers. Vickers centers one. Hedberg was too closely checked by Robinson. Kachuk is on top of Robinson in the corner. Canadiens Poole trying to work it out and does backhand it into the center ice area. Greshner for Vickers. He lost it, and here's Napier, or at least Jarvis moving in. Jarvis upended by Greshner, and Mike McEwen takes over for Greshner. Greshner works his way to center, flipped it in. Hedberg, who had that big chance earlier, trying to center. LaFleur knocked it down, and here's Gainey on left wing. LaFleur is with him. A 2-on-2 break as Gainey drops it to LaFleur. Shoots Davidson, a pad save as he kicked out that left leg. Marois out on right wing for Murdoch. Over onto the other side for Dave Maloney. Works it across the line, but Esposito was in ahead of the play offside at the Montreal line.
Chance for the Canadiens, Bobby, on the 2-on-1 or 2-on-2 really, but Gainey made a good play to make it 2-on-1. Dropped the puck back to LaFleur.
Made a great play right there at the blue line, and Davison gets his pad on the puck on his glove side. But Gainey made the big play at the blue line.
Two large goaltenders in this series. Davidson is 6'3". Dryden at the other end is 6'4". Marois shooting one in. Dryden behind the net for Lang, or at least for Lupien. Now they get it to center for LaFleur. LaFleur's shot. Davidson a pad save, and Dave Maloney comes up with the rebound to his younger brother Don on left wing to Esposito. He's checked by Schutt, let a long shot go. Dryden sets it up for Lupien. Now to Schutt. Schutt got it near the line. Here's Savard working it out on left wing for Schutt. Schutt trying to go around Marois. Marois breaks it up. LaFleur held it in. Esposito checked him. Rangers Murdoch then able to clear it to center. Checking is very close in this 2-2 third period situation. Marois to Murdoch, to Dave Maloney, to Don Maloney, to Esposito, shoots, he scores! Esposito!
Well, it didn't appear that Esposito got good wood on that at all, Dick and Dan. It went between Kenny's legs. He must have just missed it because it wasn't a hard shot. He wasn't in that close, and Kenny may have just missed it.
Dropped to his knees on the shot, Bobby, and from here it looked like it went right underneath him and through his legs into the net.
Donnie Maloney makes a good play over the Phil. And it didn't appear they had good wood on it at all.
You're right, didn't look like that dangerous a rush. Phil just leans into it when he gets it right there.
It might have hit Lupien's stick and dropped.
Bit of a drop shot, but the story is told in the faces of Yvan Cornway and Claude Ruel. The Rangers aren't smiling, but they are happy. The fans are still standing. You see Espo make the move there just as the shot on the bench. He sort of said it dropped. He put his hand down.
It appeared that it hit Lupien's stick and dropped.
So Phil Esposito.
Go ahead, Dick.
I was going to say he's giving them the lead, Dan.
Donnie Maloney got Lupien going the other way, and Phil went wide and shot it from the top of the circle. It hit his stick and dipped on Kenny.
For Esposito, his 8th goal of the playoffs, which ties a Ranger team record for goals in 1 year. Tell you more about that later. 3-2, Rangers leading. Lambert working it across the line, and Plante was there to tip it to center. Engblom flips one in. Davidson behind the net, setting it up, and they work it out to Plante. Now to Duguay. He's checked, and Lambert starts back to Tremblay. Tremblay, slap shot. Davidson with a bad save. May have got a stick on it too. Canadiens hold it in. Davidson clears to Johnstone. Now Tremblay behind the net. Tremblay and Greshner battling for it. Greshner now trying to fight off Lambert, and Greshner falls, and the faceoff will be in the Ranger zone.
Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
A lot of liberals and conservatives believe that Ed Broadbent would make the best prime minister. They say if Ed Broadbent were the leader of their party, he'd win by the biggest landslide in Canadian history. People don't have the same kind of nagging doubts about Ed Broadbent they have about Trudeau and Clark. Maybe it's time to put aside the old liberal and conservative myths and simply vote for the best man. If enough people did that, Ed Broadbent would be the next Prime Minister of Canada.
This has been a paid political announcement by the NDP.
The Ranger goal again, the brothers Maloney assisting Dave to Don to Espo, and New York has a 3-2 lead.
I mentioned Esposito's 8th of the playoffs, which ties a record on the Rangers. Cecil Dillon in 32-33 and Vic Hatfield in 70-71. And it gives the Canadiens a 3-2 lead. Time of the goal was 4:26. Face-off in the Ranger zone. McEwen got it on the boards, and Duguay, number 10. Passes to Plot. Long shot in. Johnstone in with Robinson to the corner. Now they hold it there, and the face-off will be in the Montreal zone.
All right, Bobby, what do the Rangers do now that they've got the lead? You sort of accused them of firing and falling back to start the second period.
No, I just hope they don't. If they plan on sitting on that lead again, they're going to get themselves in trouble. I think they're going to find they'll play just as they did in that first period. Throw it in, going after them, bump the Canadiens whenever they can.
Duguay against Mondeau. Mondeau on the right side for Lafleur. He fires it to center. It precedes Mondeau, so he's onside. Mondeau to the corner with Marois. Marois took him out of the play. Shoots it over. Robinson fanned on it. And Chartrand, number 27, has to hustle back. Chartrand gets it to Lafleur. Across the line for Guy Lafleur. To Mondeau. Mondeau moving in. Centered it all, and Napier with an open side. Shot it wide. Robinson's shot is blocked. Bounces to center. Chartrand shooting it back in, and a couple of Montreal players were trapped in there offside.
Boy, you had some great moves by the Canadiens, didn't you? Leading to this chance by Napier, whom I described a minute or two ago as an offensive type player. Look at that Mondeau.
Some pretty good moves there, Dick. And the move Lafleur made right at the blue line was another great move. Wide open net. Napier couldn't get the wood on it.
Now we've got an
Watch
injured...
his play.
There it is. Look at Napier out in front. How does he miss it? Might have been deflected a bit by Davidson. But as we get back to what is happening here at the Garden, we have John Davidson, the New York goaltender, being attended to by the team's trainer. Somewhere along the way, he was shaken up. I didn't see what might have caused
sure what
that.
happened either, Dick.
Doug Sotard, number 33, you saw him just skate out of your picture, the backup goaltender tonight for the Rangers. There he is, the native of Edmonton. Heads back to the bench, and big J.D. Doug is from Edmonton and John from Calgary, so Alberta well represented in the goaltending ranks tonight of the Rangers. Nick Guerin, the trainer, checks with Davidson. Looks like he's going to be okay. This is Stanley Cup 79 from Madison Square Garden in New York.
It's for people like you, people who do what you want at Canadian Tire.
For a great selection of gardening supplies at down-to-earth prices, come to Canadian Tire. You'll find the things you need in the spring to help you grow the garden you want in the summer.
It's for people like you, people who do Canadian Tire. Canadian Tire.
Well, they tried to drop the puck, but they did it unfairly, so they'll do it over again to the left of the Montreal goal. 13:49. Left in regulation time. That go-ahead goal scored by Esposito at 4:26 here in the third period. Gainey for Montreal. Flips one in. Davidson out of the net to beat Hull to it. Now Gainey in there doing some forechecking. Gets the puck. Shoots, he scores! Bob Gainey with some ferocious forechecking. Gets the puck and beats Davidson with a low shot to tie it at 3-3.
This whole play starts on the boards. Gainey knocks down Maloney to get the puck from him. Davison tried to clear it. Now watch Gainey here. He knocks Maloney down. And Davidson a screen there.
Short side. Bob Gainey making all the play here. I wonder if Davidson either was screened or else thought Gainey might have thrown it to the side, but Gainey knocks the Ranger player down. You see another collision. And Gainey picks that short side, and very quickly after the Esposito goal, the Canadiens come back with a good individual effort by Bob Gainey, and it's 3-3.
An unassisted goal for Gainey. He did it all. His 5th of the playoffs, and it's a big one that ties the game at 3-3. Now Hickey trying to move around Savard. He was checked. Dave Maloney flips one in with DeBlois already in across the line, so it's offside at the Montreal blue line.
Bobby, there was a story in the New York Times today about intensity and how players can maintain it through a long playoff year. Is there anybody who plays with more of that than this fellow right here?
Every night. Gainey every night plays like that, and that was his. It was unassisted, and he made that goal all himself. He knocked Maloney down and made a great play, and he shot it between Vadnais' legs, and it might have again dipped on Davison. I'm sure Davison was screened.
Now the Rangers make a late change. Esposito out there with Maloney and Murdoch against the Risebrow, Lambert, and Tremblay line. Here's Lupien for Tremblay. Across the line and coming up with it is McEwen. Lambert behind the goal, carried in front, poked away by Greshner. Rangers try and get it out of there. Savard holding it in. Don Maloney couldn't get it out. Now on the second try they do. Maloney can't get by Savard. Tremblay shoots it into the Ranger zone. Greshner beats Risebrow to it, but lost it to Lambert. Into the corner for number 8, Risebrow. McEwen takes him out of the play, and in comes Tremblay and Esposito, and it's held there for a face-off in the New York zone.
You know, 2 out of the 3 Canadian goals tonight have started from Davidson trying to clear the puck. And you can see goaltenders like, well, Eddie Giacomo, who no longer plays, and Jerry Cheevers handle the puck so well, and it's something a lot of goaltenders don't practice, and it's so important. And as I said, 2 out of the 3 goals started from John trying to clear the puck, and he did not clear it properly.
Canadiens have outshot the Rangers in this period so far 6-4. On the game 30-19. But it is 3-3. Here's Robinson trying to flip one in, and he flipped it up over the glass. And the faceoff will be outside the New York line.
There's Mike Nickluck, Fred Shero's assistant, and he is given a big share of the credit for the resurgence of the Rangers under Shero's guidance, but Nickluck runs most of the practices. They came as a tandem from the Flyers. Fred Shero, the day he signed with the Rangers, I think both Shero and Nickluck took off their Stanley Cup rings. They said, we don't want to wear these anymore. The next one we wear, we want a Ranger sign on it.
Freddie had his on tonight.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he had it on tonight.
Well, there's another
from Philadelphia.
Another Sheroism that can go out the window now. You just can't believe everything you read.
Here's Greshner to McEwen. Across the line, now the Canadiens, Robinson back together. 3-3 the score. Robinson being forechecked by Esposito. Robinson swings away from him and passes to Jarvis. Now across the line for the Canadiens, Steve Shutt. He's taken out of the play. And Greshner got it to the line. Lafleur held it in. Here's Lafleur. Right in. Shoots. Davidson got a piece of it. And we're going to have a penalty on the play to the Rangers for tripping Lafleur.
And a Canadiens power play with 12:02 left in regulation time with the score. The Canadiens 3, the Rangers 3. This is Stanley Cup 79.
Smart man, Larry. When he got to be a family man, he decided to go first class in his choice of tires and picked the one and only Michelin. Like Michelin quality so much, put a set on his truck. And even on his 10-speed. The one and only Michelin.
It's the only tire I'd own.
Michelin.
Greshner off for tripping at 7:58. First penalty called in over 20 minutes of play. Bobby, you call this one a good penalty?
I would have to call this one a good one. If you let that guy in that close to that, you know where it's going. But again, that play started. It was a poor clearing pass to the blue line, which Lafleur intercepted and went in all alone.
Greshner off for tripping at 7:58. Here are the Canadiens in this 3-3 game behind the net to Lambert. He and Maloney collide. Canadiens trying to work it in front, but Kachuk intercepts to Hedberg. Hedberg trying to work around Lemaire. He almost did, but Dryden came out and knocked it off his stick. Kachuk in there, poor checking. Canadiens with the power play as Steve Shutt drops it back for Lemaire. Jacques Lemaire fires one into the Ranger zone. Lambert, number 11, in after it. Trying to drop it back. Kachuk intercepts. Here he comes with Hedberg. Passing to Hedberg. Hedberg trying to move around Lemaire. Backhander. Dryden makes the save. Hedberg after the rebound. Couldn't find the handle to get the shot away. Now Kachuk a shot right on and a stick save by Dryden. Rangers with a couple of good short-handed opportunities. Here's Lambert to Robinson. Robinson leading a four-man rush. Behind the net to Houle. Houle tied up, centered one. Kachuk is there to clear it away. 43 seconds left in the penalty. And Lafleur is back to pick it up. Here's Lafleur. Well checked by Duguay, had to drop it back to Savard. Canadiens fire it in. Dave Maloney back for the Rangers. Getting away from Lafleur to Duguay. And Duguay clears it all the way down the ice. Engblom, number 3, back after it. 10 seconds left in the penalty. Held in by Duguay. Savard has to go back. Rangers have killed this penalty off brilliantly. Here's Mondeau. Trying to work in. Dropping it back for Mondeau. Mondeau behind the net trying to make a play. Checked by Duguay. Now they get it to Greshner, who's just back on. So the Rangers have killed it off. Engblom flips it back in for Montreal. Less than 10 minutes to play in regulation time. 3-3 the score as the Rangers clear it down the ice and will be called for icing.
Well, the fans are booing, and I think they're booing in the direction of Guy Lafleur, who has not drawn a penalty in the playoffs so far, but might be lucky that he didn't get one here. He was a little upset with Duguay, who seemed to have hooked him, so Lafleur retaliated, but the play went right on.
New York 3, Montreal 3. Great penalty killing by the Rangers that time, and they almost had a couple of goals in that shorthanded situation. Now at the last minute, Duguay comes over the boards.
They decided the best way to defend against the Montreal power play is to force it as the Canadiens do, and they're doing a heck of a job tonight, Dan and Dick.
Lucien Deblois, number 23. Out on the forward line for the Rangers now. Duguay will take this face-off against Jarvis. It's to the right of the New York goal. Duguay gets the draw, but the Canadiens' Risebrow stole the puck, and the Rangers quickly had to cover up. Mike McEwen in his own zone to Marois, to Hickey. Hickey checked by Tremblay into Risebrow. Risebrow flipping it in front, and Marois takes over for Hickey. Off his skate and Savard for the Canadiens. To Engblom. Flipped it in. Marois goes back after it. Marois being watched by Jarvis. Passes to McEwen. McEwen is lost it to Tremblay. He dropped it back. And it came outside the line. Engblom carried back in offside.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
When I was growing up in this country, owning a home was taken pretty much for granted. For many today, it's a dream. The people at Scotiabank believe in dreams. Dreams and hard-working people. If you've got a new home in your future, see the people at Scotiabank. When it comes to your dream, they've got everything you need.
Well, media people are overflowing during this final series here at Madison Square Garden. The location being photographed by our cameras involving other camera and their location.
3-3 the score, 9 minutes left in regulation time. McEwen for the Rangers to Marois. Now to Deblois on right wing, who flips it in. Digging in is Hickey. Around on the boards, Engblom beats Deblois to it to Gainey. Gainey's laid pass to Hull, going all the way down the ice. McEwen back, wins the race to the puck, and it will be icing against Montreal.
Dan, you'd agree this is the best game of the series so far?
Most definitely.
You know, the fans have waited a long time for this here in New York. There has been quite a turnover in the ranks of the Rangers. For example, these two teams played in the quarterfinals in 1974, and only two players, Paul Tkachuk and Steve Vickers, are back with the Rangers in this series 5 years later. There are 9 players who were with Montreal in 74 and are still with Montreal here in 79. John Ziegler, NHL president, looking on.
Here's Robinson from the faceoff in the Montreal zone. Worked it to Shutt. It comes to the center ice area. Now Lemire pokes it in. And Gressner for the Rangers. Gets away from Lemire. Here is Shutt to Lemire. Esposito tipped it around on the boards. Vadnais is there. Vadnais to Esposito. To Murdoch. Broken up by Robinson. Backhander by Robinson. Here's Lafleur, a shot. And Davidson makes the save and did a little juggling act before holding it for a faceoff.
Yeah, that's a bang-bang situation, Bobby. Lafleur just sliced it backwards without looking. That's all he could do, and it was on target as far as Davidson was concerned. He made the save.
The defenseman blocks it here, and it goes up. Lafleur doesn't hesitate, just turn and whacks it, and Davidson makes a good save. Bounces up and he grabs it.
Oh, hi there.
8 minutes, 12 seconds left in regulation time.
You find that both teams will be a little careful now. I don't think anyone's going to try to be too fancy. Just dump it in and dump it out.
Here's Robinson flipping one in, Shutt into the corner, trying to center one. Robinson moves in from the other side, got it in behind the net, and Vadnais takes over for New York. Trying to clear it, held in. Chartrand, low shot, just wide. Now Lafleur with the loose puck, trying to center. Lemire at the point has his shot blocked. And Vickers, number 8 for the Rangers, takes over. Got it to center, but the Canadiens, Robinson to Chartrand. Hedberg intercepts his pass to Vickers. Here's Vickers. In across the line, but checked by Robinson, and Lambert gives it to Lemire. Jacques Lemire moving in, shoots one off of Vadnais and up over the glass. And I can't remember Carl Vadnais ever blocking as many shots as I have seen him do in this game tonight.
The Canadiens have had 29 shots, but the Vad and the entire New York defense have blocked a lot of shots tonight. The shots are not getting, although 29 have gone through, but the defense has blocked a lot of shots tonight. And I have seen Vad block shots before.
Oh, I didn't mean that, but he just the number in this game.
He's blocked a lot. The entire defense has played very, very well tonight.
Try to get along, fellas, eh?
I don't want him telling a big guy like Vadnais that I said he didn't block shots. Esposito against Jarvis. Now it comes to Hull, who fanned on a shot. Knocked down by Gainey, centered over onto the other wing, and Don Maloney cleared it. Lupien going back for Montreal. Lupien. Checked by Esposito. Esposito couldn't center. Now Murdoch tries his luck. Did center, but Savard for Montreal flipped it to center. Dave Maloney trying to shoot it in. Risebrough had just come off the bench, breaks it up. Now Murdoch moves in, and the play is offside at the Canadiens line, and they don't agree with the offside call here in New York.
Funny that call was made. Maloney was falling. Almost all of his body was outside the blue line, but his skates were inside.
And I don't think the top of his body had hit the ice. So
no, that's right.
Is that an offside?
Take a look at this now. His skates. Oh, look where his feet are.
What is the ruling there, Dick?
Feet.
Here's Dave Maloney. Over onto the wing to Marois. Shoots it in. Langway is there. Esposito in port checking against Lambert. In comes Langway and Murdoch, and they hold it, and the faceoff will be in the Montreal zone. Canadiens 3, Rangers 3, 6:42. Now left in regulation time.
Paul Tkachuk, along with Anders Hedberg, doing that great job of penalty killing earlier in this period. In fact, that was during that stretch, the Rangers had some pretty good scoring opportunities. Since the goal by Gainey, though, Bob, the Rangers haven't had that many, if any, good chances to score. The Canadiens have had several. 6:42 left in regulation time, and that becomes a big factor right now.
The Ranger goals by Hickey, Murdoch, and Esposito. The Montreal goals by Houle, Lambert, and Gainey. All ready for this face-off. Esposito gets the draw to Marois. Behind the net, Bryden tried to clear it. Here's Robinson shooting it off the boards. Did get it outside the line. The Canadiens now to Tremblay. Tremblay against Maloney. Don Maloney is there. Lambert checked him. Got it in front, but Dave Maloney is there to clear it away for New York and carry out of the zone. Fires one in. Bryden shot it around in the boards. Came outside the line, and Mario Marois carried back in, and it's offside at the Montreal blue line.
Crowd here tonight, 17,382, as we look at the board, which tells us that Don Maloney has set a rookie record for points in playoff competition. 7 goals, 13 assists. He assisted Phil Esposito on the Ranger goal in this period that gave them the 3-2 lead, and then Gainey tied it for Montreal.
Greshner getting it into the Montreal zone. Robinson to Savard. That's center ice to Mondeau, now to Lafleur. Lafleur being tied up. Rangers break it up, and back they come. Plot to Mike McEwen. McEwen trying to work around Robinson. Flips it near the goal. Plot has it. Shoots it in the side of the net, or Dryden stick, one or the other. Napier comes back for Montreal. Greshner breaks that up to Duguay. Back to Greshner. Greshner behind the Ranger goal has a look on right wing for Johnstone. To Duguay, but Robinson intercepts. Robinson to Napier. He's knocked down by Greshner, and Johnstone starts back to Plot. Over to Duguay, but behind him, and Robinson for Montreal fired it out to center. Rangers have it again. Badner breaking it up, and here comes Gainey. Gainey dropping it back, and a weak shot by Napier. Davidson handles it, was going to clear it, then changed his mind.
Live from Madison Square Garden in New York, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Discipline a little ragged in the lawn and garden, uprising along the border. Call out Black & Decker. Take charge with the deluxe whippersnipper, the precise in-close trimmer with a thick, rugged nylon line. Self-feeding, so it keeps on trimming those tricky places. You're in command. When your lawn and garden gets out of line, whippersnipper it. You can win this convertible in-ground swimming pool or lots of other prizes in Black & Decker's Lawn and Garden Sweepstakes.
Well, they've got the sign up again. 6th game, if necessary, Thursday, right here, 7:35.
5:08 left in regulation play. The Rangers 3, the Canadiens 3. In behind the net is Dave Maloney. Trying to get away from Gainey. Back to Vadnais. Over onto the other wing. It's intercepted by Houle. Régent Houle's trying to jam it in from behind the net. Cleared away. Houle has it again. Over onto the other wing. Canadiens, Napier, bumped by Dave Maloney. They fall. In comes Duguay. And we'll have a face-off in the New York zone.
Well, before Game 6 might be played here in New York, Game 5 has to take place and will in Montreal Monday night. And we'll be on the air at 8 o'clock Eastern Time with all of the action from the Forum in Montreal. Bobby, Dave Maloney was doing a real number on Bob Gainey in front of the net while that play was in the corner to the right. How far can you go?
Well, with the game tied,
exactly.
You can go a long way right now, but Van Hellemont's not going to call a penalty unless it's really, really called for. Because it's, to give a team a power play right now, the game could be over. So you can get away with a lot right now.
Jacques Lemaire on the face-off, but the Rangers, Kachuk got it, and Vickers flips it to the Canadian zone. Robinson hustling back. Hedberg takes him out of the play, but Chartrand has it for Montreal. Got it to center to Lafleur. Lafleur moving in, shoots. Davidson, a pad save, and McEwen has to clear the rebound. Now Schutt out to Chartrand, cleared away again by the Rangers. Here's Schutt to Lemaire, blocked at the defense. Now Chartrand shooting, and that deflects wide. Here's Lafleur. trying to center one as the Canadiens pour the pressure on. Chartres lost it, and Vickers clears it to Hedberg. At center over to Kachuk. He tipped it into the Montreal zone. Robinson for Lemire to Shutt. 3:54 left. Shutt moving in. Davidson pokes it away. Now McEwen for New York. Leading a three-man rush. Lets a slap shot go, and he blistered it wide. And Robinson has it for Montreal. Montreal 3 and the Rangers 3. We're in the last 4 minutes of regulation time. Tremblay trying to center. Now Vadnais tying up Lambert behind the net, and the faceoff will be in the New York zone.
Dick, you don't want to let McEwen over that blue line with room to shoot it, because he can shoot it. And if it's on the net, I think it would be in the goal. But he can fire it, shoots it just past the defenseman, and Kenny didn't pick it up till late. But if it had been on the net, I'm sure it would have been in.
Well, in the plays in the Rangers zone, Bobby, I think some of the Canadian forwards should get danger pay. They are really in heavy traffic in front of Davidson. That's the way it should be.
If you're going to beat the Canadiens, you've just got to, you have to take their bodies. The way they skate after they pass the puck, you just got to keep them out of that play.
Jarvis and Duguay on the face-off. The Canadiens get it. Engblom shoots one. That deflects wide. Here's Greshner trying to get away from Jarvis. Over on the left wing side for Don Maloney. He got it to center. And Engblom has it for Montreal. Shoots it back into the New York zone. Greshner for the Rangers. Lost it now. Houle behind the net. Tied up by Vadnais. Houle and Vadnais battle and fall on top of the puck as we're down to 2:59 left in regulation. As we're down to 2:59 left in regulation time, and it is tied at 3.
Of course, some of these players are looking very tired as the cameras zoom in for the close-ups, and it's understandable. This has been a fine hockey game. We're in a position again of using the old cliche. It's too bad somebody has to lose, but they put on quite a show here tonight.
Don Murdoch at the Ranger bench. Big face-off coming up. Jarvis will take it for Montreal. Duguay for the Rangers. This time Duguay wins the draw, and Marois behind his own goal, almost flipped it in front. Duguay covers up. Shot up to center ice. Engblom to Don Maloney. Long shot. Dryden handles it. Engblom is there, clearing for Gainey. Gainey trying to shoot it out of there. Now they work it in across the line for Houle. Houle skated off by Dave Maloney and the young Ranger captain. Passes to Esposito. Esposito, quick wrist shot. Dryden makes the save, takes no chance, and covered up, and will have a face-off to his right.
And again, an infrequent face-off in the Canadian zone. There haven't been that many. Don Maloney, Dave Hodges' second intermission guest, picks himself up after sprawling to the side of the Canadiens' net. 2:26 remaining. Freddie Shero has been here before. So has Scotty Bowman.
The Montreal goals in this game scored by Houle, Lambert, and Gainey. The Ranger goals, Hickey, Murdoch, and Esposito. This time Esposito on a face-off in the Montreal zone against Lemire. .226 left in regulation time. Puck comes near the Canadian goal. Dryden shooting it over on left wing. Now Lambert tipped it to center. Murdoch is there. Got it across the line for Don Maloney, and the play is offside at the Montreal blue line.
Well, Espo argues the point and loses the argument to Ron Finn. 2:15 left to go. All of that took 9 seconds of what's left in regulation time.
Esposito on the face-off. Here's Marois now to Don Murdoch. He got it in across the line. Esposito picking it up. Gets it into the Canadian zone. Chartres trying to shoot it out of there. They jam up on the boards, but Lambert is able to get it into the center ice area. Canadiens Tremblay shoots it in. Marois against Lambert. Marois comes up with the puck to the rookie Don Maloney, to Hedberg. Hedberg to Esposito. Couldn't catch up with it. Dryden clears to Lambert. 1:35 left in regulation time. Here's Vickers. Trying to move in. Drops it to Esposito, and Tremblay checked him. Now McEwen at the point, a shot. Blocked at the defense, and Chartrand quickly clears to center. 1:20 left in regulation time. 3-3 the score. Dryden out of the net to try and shoot it away. And they do get it by Greshner at the point. Mondeau is knocked down by Greshner. Now Tremblay, I believe it is, it's hit with a high stick, and he's been injured.
Well, the whistle blew immediately. Mario Tremblay fell heavily to the ice, and the officials stopped the play right away.
We were talking earlier about what you could get away with this time of the game, Dick. And
see that last one? A little bit of a tackle there, Bobby, at the Ranger blue line. So Mario Tremblay is the injured player. I did not see exactly what happened, so we'll take a look right here. That's Mondeau moving down against Greshner at the line. There's where the play takes place that Bobby mentioned. Now watch Mario, oh, right there. You can see the stick, and I think it's his teammate's stick. It was Mondeau's stick as he tried to get up, as he and Greshner were tangled up, that struck Mario Tremblay, and he has been hurt and needs assistance now as he goes out the corridor and into the area of the Garden Clinic. So a tough break for Tremblay as we look at the two coaches. 1:08 remaining in regulation time. We are that far away from the first overtime game in this final series. And there's Mario Tremblay. You see Pat Hughes, one of the Canadians not in uniform tonight. Tremblay getting assistance and into the clinic area here at the Garden.
He has played very, very, very well for them, Dick. And let's hope that he can get back. If it should go into overtime, he'll be back for the overtime.
The two games here in New York have been the best games that Tremblay has played. We have hit midnight. So good morning, everyone, from Madison Square Garden, New York. Those of you in the Eastern time zone and beyond.
1:08 left in regulation time. 3-3 the score. It comes to Savard at center. He flipped it. Dave Maloney knocked it down. Now less than a minute to play in the third period as the Rangers shoot it in. Robinson is there to get it. Up the middle, tipped by Lemaire. Now here's Lafleur stealing it from Dave Maloney. Quick shot, high off the glass. Digging in is Gainey. Rangers can't clear it loose at the side of the goal. Out in front, Lafleur shoots. Davidson sprawling save. Lafleur centers again, and Hedberg intercepts. And here come the Rangers with Vickers trying to beat it in, and Hedberg was skated off. Now Savard got it to center for Lafleur. Lafleur shoots one. Davidson, a pad save. 20 seconds left in regulation time as the Rangers. Vadnais passes to Deblois. Lucien Deblois checked by Hull. Puck comes to Lafleur. He gets it into the New York zone. Vadnais going back to get it. We're down to 3-2 to 1 second, and the buzzer goes. We are going to have sudden death overtime here at Madison Square Garden after 60 minutes of hockey. The Rangers and the Canadiens tied 3-3.
Last year in the finals, two games went into overtime. Lafleur scoring for Montreal, Bobby Schmutz for the Boston Bruins. This one into overtime for the first time. The Canadiens and the New York Rangers here tonight, just past the witching hour of midnight. Shots on goal in that period favored the Canadiens 11-10, and unofficially overall, it's 35-25. Montreal, they did not have the wide margin of play they enjoyed in the second period, but Bobby Orr, John Davidson was tested by the Flower, Guy Lafleur, who was really firing in that last 30 seconds, and he had a couple of pretty good shots, although from fairly well out.
Well out, but he had good wood on them, and Davidson went up with two big saves.
Well, there you see it. We are heading into overtime. Regulation time ends 3-3. Here again is Dave Hawk.
There is no doubt that the Canadiens. Dryden getting ready his goal crease for this sudden death overtime. It is tied 3-3. And in the hockey game Thus far, Phil Esposito and Bob Gainey scoring in the third period. Shots on goal in the third period. The Canadiens out shooting the Rangers 11-7 on the game. 35 shots for Montreal, 22 for the Rangers. And Game 5 will be played Monday night in Montreal at the Forum. Our broadcast on the air at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Incidentally, in the third period, John Davidson saw Guy Lafleur fire 7 shots at him. Lafleur has had 11 shots on goal in the game, has yet to score. Sudden death overtime at Madison Square Garden. If the Rangers score, the series will be tied at 2 games each. If the Canadiens score, they will have a 3-1 lead and will be heading home for the next game on Monday night.
I tell you, if the Rangers score, your friends, the Lions, the Tigers, and the Elephants won't be able to sleep.
This place will go wild, you know that. All set for the start of sudden death play. Referee Andy Van Hellemond drops the puck. Duguay and Lemaire fight for it, and Lafleur quickly gets it into the Ranger zone. McEwen is there for Johnstone. He flipped it to center. Lemaire knocked it down. Now here's Marois for Duguay. Duguay shooting it in. Dryden sets it up for Robinson. Robinson up the middle for Lemaire. Lemaire tries to feed shut, but Johnstone was back-checking and breaks it up. Over onto the other wing as the Rangers. Plante, number 24, shoots it in. Dryden, back of the net. Duguay tries to get it. Here's Savard for Lafleur. McEwen held it in. McEwen again has it, but they whistle it down as Plante had batted it. They roll with his glove to the teammate, Mike McEwen.
Yvan Cournoyer and Claude Ruel still very serious. This is the 5th time the Canadiens have gone into overtime in this Stanley Cup year. Twice against the Leafs, twice against the Bruins. The Rangers now into their 5th game. They have lost 3 out of 4. The Canadiens have won 3 out of 4.
Face-off will be at the Montreal blue line. Scotty Bowman behind the Montreal bench. We're in the first minute of sudden death play. Sheehan steps in to take the face-off against Régin Houle. Rangers' Dave Maloney fires it around on the boards. Dryden sets it up back of the net. Langway and Deblois fight for it. Now Langway for Houle. Houle to Tremblay, who was injured earlier but back in action. Goes into the Ranger zone, and they roll it. Maloney got to it first, so it's icing. And the face-off will go all the way back into the Montreal zone.
Mario Tremblay didn't like the call. They never do. I tell you, it was close. He gave Maloney a pretty good foot race, Bobby, down in around behind the Ranger net.
It appeared Maloney got his skate on it first.
They always argue.
Oh, sure. The Rangers better be a little careful here. The Canadiens, on that play, Jacques Lemaire was out at the blue line looking for that breakaway pass, and Vadnais got caught in. They just better be careful. There's going to be a 2-on-1 here.
Red Shiro as calm as ever on the outside. Face-off coming up. And Jarvis gets the draw for Gainey. Gainey clearing it into the center ice area. Vadnais and Houle fight for it. Vadnais comes up with the puck. Houle in forechecking. Houle and Vadnais now hold it against the boards, but the Rangers get it to Hickey. He lost it to Gainey. Gainey in front, the shot, and that deflected wide as Jarvis let it go. Maloney takes Jarvis out of the play. Now Gainey in the corner, trying to center, and the Rangers break it up. Can't clear it, however. Dave Maloney knocks it over onto the wing to Sheehan. And the Canadiens Houle backhands a long one in. Vadnais for New York. We're in the 2nd minute of sudden death play as Deblois trying to clear it over onto the left wing, cleared it up over the boards into the crowd.
And again, we saw a good performance by Bob Gainey. The Rangers played 3 playoff rounds prior to this final against Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and the Islanders, and at least 1 game in each of those rounds went into overtime. The only 2 games they lost against the Islanders were in overtime. The only game they lost to the Flyers in the quarterfinals was in overtime. Phil Esposito, you see him there, scored the series winning goal in overtime against the Kings out in Los Angeles. Right now, 1:40 into this first overtime. It's 3-3.
Walter Tkachuk centering the Ranger line. Hedberg on right wing, Vickers on left wing. They're out against Risebrough, Tremblay, and Lambert. Here's Robinson feeding it into the Ranger zone. Hedberg Back to pick it up. Trying to clear it. Robinson held it in. Rangers still can't get it out. Risebrow and Kachuk fight for it. Now it's Greshner. Over onto the other wing for Vickers. Picked up by McEwen, who shot it to center. Savard knocked it down. Lambert in across the line for a chance for Tremblay. Slid it right through the crease. Now Risebrow to Savard. Fired it in behind the net. Tremblay and Greshner battle for it. Lambert is knocked down. Risebrow for Montreal. Flipping it in front. Here is Savard, who had moved in. And the Rangers break it up, and McEwen feeds to Hedberg. Hedberg on right wing. Trying to make a play, flipped it in front, and Savard clears it away, and then it's shot up over the glass.
Mario Tremblay and Yvon Lambert, who combined for the series-winning goal in Game 7 against the Bruins, almost clicked again, but Greshner did a good job, Bobby, of steering Lambert in too deep on the play.
Again, the Rangers make a mistake here, putting the puck into the middle, and you just have to keep that puck out of the middle, especially against the Canadiens. So they've always got somebody shooting into that middle. It's so important right now. Just keep that puck up and down the board. You've got to keep it out of the middle.
Greshner having his skates worked on at the Ranger bench. Esposito and Lemaire face off deep in the Montreal zone. 17:25 left in the first sudden death overtime period. Now Esposito is going to be chased out. Murdoch will take the draw against Lemaire. Murdoch gets the draw and shot it wide. Chartrand on right wing for Lafleur. Lead pass to Lemaire. Here's Lemaire to Steve Shutt. Shoots. Davidson kicked it out. And Esposito along the boards. Getting it onto the wing for Don Maloney. He got it to center. Chartrand shoots it back to the Ranger line. Here's Esposito for Don Maloney. Trying to go around Engblom, who takes him out of the play. Maloney falls, centered it, but the Canadiens come back, led by Lafleur. To Shutt, a 2-on-2 break. Shutt stops, tied up and checked in the play. Chartrand holding it in. And the Rangers come back. Pass to Esposito, hopped over his stick. Engblom knocked it down. Now Murdoch to Esposito. Back to Murdoch. Engblom takes him into the boards in the corner. Rangers try and get it loose. Don Maloney had a poke at it. And play is whistled down, and the faceoff will be in the Montreal zone.
Fans are funny. It's like they're inhaling when the puck is heading toward John Davidson, and then slowly exhaling when it's going up the other way to Ken Dryden. Here's that chance right here by Steve Shutt. But it was right on, Bobby. He didn't have much of an angle, and Davidson just kicked it right at the goal. So he's hanging on, John Davidson. What a figure he has been here tonight. Absolutely tremendous. I think there have to be 2 of the 3 stars right there, Davidson and Bob Gainey.
Already on a face-off, Jarvis against Duguay. Duguay got it behind the net. Dryden cleared it. Now Napier to Jarvis. Trying to set up Gainey, but Badney intercepts. To Greshner. At center to Duguay. Into Johnstone. Back to Duguay. Robinson tipped it away. Now Badney at center to Greshner. Greshner in across the line to Plante. Shot it around behind the net. Dryden clearing it. Gainey tried to get it out. The Rangers hold it in front of the net. Plante, but turned around and couldn't get good wood on the shot. Now Johnstone trying to get it, but it's pinned there by Gainey, and the faceoff will be in the Montreal zone.
Right, Engblom on the Canadiens bench, breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. It was the Canadiens' turn to inhale right there. The fellas in the trenches, Bobby, the Johnstones, Duguay's right here for the Rangers, putting on some pretty good pressure.
They're putting on a lot of pressure, Dick, and it'll be a guy like Johnstone or Plante that's going to win this game.
We have played 4 minutes and 10 seconds of sudden death. Here's Duguay and Jarvis on a very important face-off, and Jarvis gets the draw. Robinson weaving his way along the boards, was checked, but Houle picks it up. Régin Houle moving in, trying to step around Badney, who broke it up. Now Gainey, a backhander that Davidson handles, clears it off onto the boards. Greshner being forechecked now by Houle. Puck comes loose. Jarvis hammered against the boards by Greshner. Greshner shot it out on the wing. Robinson held it in. Now here's Hoole, centering one. Rangers break it up, and back they come. Vadnais gets to center. Was tied up, shot it into the Montreal zone, and Robinson feeds Gainey. Bob Gainey, number 23, shoots one. Oh, Davidson made the save, but lost it for a moment. And then Stroh pulled it for a faceoff.
And they exhale at Madison Square Garden. All right, that's enough of that.
Again,
good shot by Gainey, Bobby.
He gets good wood on it, but again, he's way over on the boards. He gets good wood on it. Davidson makes a stop, and it drops. And he almost kicks it in the net himself.
We have played 5 minutes of sudden death.
Davidson's been having a little trouble from the shots from way over on the boards. He's been having trouble with them all night long.
Now Duguay, who seems to be coming out in key situations on faceoffs for the Rangers, will take the draw against Lemaire. It's deep in the Rangers zone to the right of Davidson. Ready for the drop of the puck between Duguay and Lemaire, and Duguay wins the draw cleanly. Marois to Sheehan on left wing. Chartrand held it in for Montreal. Now it's Marois. Flips it to Hickey. Chartrand held it in. Shot goes to the corner for the Canadiens. Sanders one. Comes near the line. Chartrand can't get loose for a shot. And the Rangers got it outside the line, and then it's held against the boards for a faceoff.
Good job of checking by Pat Hickey and Rick Chartrand there to force that offside at the New York line.
Pat Hickey's had a very, very strong game.
Best by far in this series. Only one other player has ever scored more than 3 overtime goals in a career. Rocket Richard. 6.
Here's Lafleur. Checked in the play. Sheehan had the puck, lost it. Lemaire gets it into the zone, but Marois cleared it out, and back come the Rangers. Hickey trying to shoot it in. Now Deblois does flip it in. Ryden handles it, sets it up for Chartrand. He shot it off the boards down into the Ranger zone. And as Marois goes back and plays, the puck icing is going to be called against Montreal, as we now have played over 5 minutes of sudden death.
So Scotty Bowman looks on. He continues to use all of the players he has in uniform to a very large degree. That Toronto series, Scotty ended up, mind you, there was injury problems there with only 12 or 13 skaters in front of Dryden in those overtime games. But here tonight, he and Freddie Shiro seem to be matching body for body all the way down the line.
This time Kachuk out for the Rangers to take the face-off against Jarvis in the Montreal zone. Puck loose in the face-off circle, cleared by Savard, and Robinson out to Houle. Houle to Robinson. Larry Robinson moves in, shoots. And
did it go in?
I don't know what happened. The red light did not go on. The Canadiens are hollering from the bench as if they scored. But no red light came on, and Savard has the puck. Robinson really drilled it. Here is Robinson shooting it on the boards. Vadnais has it at center. Vadnais flipping one. Now Gainey is checked in the play. Robinson for Montreal to Houle. Houle being checked, and Dave Maloney cleared it to center ice. Now Robinson moves in again with a blast. That one's high off the glass. Puck behind the goal. Vadnais trying to clear it. Here's Kachuk on the boards. Hedberg able to get it to center ice. Serge Savard for Montreal to Robinson. Robinson circling back to Lambert. Flips one into the Ranger zone, and it's offside at the Ranger blue line.
Boy, we have got an interesting situation here, and I'm kind of interested in the reaction of the fans in back of the goal.
Something hit the back of the net.
Yeah,
now, whether it was Davidson's stick or the puck, it appeared to me that it was the puck. And Robinson got good wood on that shot.
Well, look, the referee and the goal judge don't have the instant replay. Here it comes. Now, does it go in the net? Watch it. Yes.
Yes, it did.
That puck was in. I don't think there's much doubt about it. The Rangers are really backing off any argument on this one. And the fans, what I was interested in was the reaction of the fans in behind the net. You could see them. They were pointing. They were talking to one another.
in a case like this, you see it so often. The Rangers just got a very, very big break, and then they turn right around, and so many times the team comes down and scores a winning goal. But they got a break there, no doubt about it.
All right, now follow the puck. Goes in to the direction of Davidson's right arm.
Up underneath.
Underneath, back out. You see, we saw the net bulge from here, and John's stick didn't hit up in behind. And that is a very, very, very dicey moment right here, thanks to the electronic wonder of instant replay. And it's still a tie hockey game on the board, 3-3. Scotty Bowman trying to calm his troops down. He's trying to tell them. Claude Ruel, of course, is very upset. But I think Bowman's doing the right thing, Bobby. He can't let that get to his players and have them hang their heads and say, we was robbed.
That's right. Got to keep them calm.
There's a hockey game going on here right now.
It's not over yet.
So it is still sudden death play, tied 3-3. Davidson passing it out to Murdoch, to Esposito, back to Murdoch. Now over on left wing to Don Maloney. He flips one in. Dryden is there to clear it away. Canadians try and get it out. Lafleur racing after it. One man back. Lafleur against McEwen. Lafleur checked. Here's Savard. Shoots, he scores! Savard!
No doubt about that one.
Win 4-3 and have a series lead of 3-1. They may have won the game twice.
You know, Bobby, it's funny the way that Serge Savard, he just picks his spots to leave his normal defense position and go in deep.
He doesn't often come up the ice like that.
You're right.
Very, very seldom follows the play up. He did tonight, and I'm sure Scotty is very, very happy that he did. But it was a nice goal. I'm not sure, who was that defenseman back?
Back.
McEwen.
Was that McEwen back?
Lafleur made the play.
Almost had him beat.
You know, Larry can say now, shake it off. I don't know. 7:25, the time of the goal.
But Lafleur almost beats McEwen himself. And Savard coming up late with the play. Picks the puck and throws the backhand up high on Davidson. Lafleur cuts back. McEwen gets a piece of him.
Here's the play right there.
Yeah. And Savard's coming. He very, very seldom comes up like that on the play.
Well, Don Maloney, number 12, had a chance, and you see Savard beat him with the stick. And the backhand shot high up into the short side. There you see the disappointed Ranger fans. You had an elated Montreal fan a moment ago on your screen. But the fans here have to be disappointed. But the fans here in New York and you in the television audience and those of us in the booth have just seen a terrific hockey game. The final score, the Montreal Canadiens 4, the New York Rangers 3 in overtime. In just a moment, our 3 stars selection.